Hello everybody and welcome! My name is Ryan. This is Civilization 7 and today this is my ultimate complete guide to the new test of time economic victory. The game has been overhauled, it has been taken and gutted and rearranged and put back together into something that looks very different to Civilization 7 on launch, and you need to know how to beat it on Deity. And this is my every click explained guide to the economic victory. I'm going to leave, ideally, no stone unturned. I'm going to tell you everything I know about the game, and you're going to be able to walk away from this being able to thrash Deity difficulty regularly. That is my promise to you. Just be aware that this video, because it's going to be an every click explained video, well, it's going to be very long. So remember to check out the timestamps in the description below if you want to fast forward to the good bits, or if you want to rewind to some of the bits before and watch more of it. Yes, why don't you watch this video 5 times? Why don't you sleep to this video? Fantastic. Enough hanging around, let's get in. The economic victory is one of 4 new types of victory in Civilization 7, along with cultural, military, and scientific. And as we start a new game, the nice thing about the economic victory is most leaders work relatively well, because the economic victory is one of those victories that the Empire specializes into rather really than the leader specializing. There are lots of different choices that will do quite well. You could go for a leader choice that leans directly into gold, the main, obviously, resource involved in the economic victory, like, for instance, Achaemenid Xerxes. With extra trade route limit and abilities involving trade routes, he is a fantastic choice. Machiavelli is incredibly strong in the early game, giving you large chunks of gold as long as you manage your influence well. And Isabella can give you quite a wild start involving natural wonders and some ridiculous bursts of gold, again, to get the game going in the early stages. And as in any game, Ibn Battuta, well, he can be specialized for literally anything. You could also do what I would call contrary synergies, so going for a leader that doesn't directly give you an economic bonus in order to fulfill the weaker elements of your empire. So for instance, Confucius could be used to keep your cities nice and big and keep the science high for the juicy unlocks. Augustus is always incredibly strong because of the town purchasing, and Alexander the Great and Gilgamesh are 2 of the most powerful leaders in the game right now. I'm going to be picking somebody, as you saw on the leader screen just beforehand, that does lean directly into the game, albeit defensively. Amina, who gives +1 resource capacity in all cities and a little bit of gold for every resource assigned to cities. Cities are very important with the economic victory. Combining that with 5 combat strength on all units in plains and desert means that if anyone wants to attack me, typically I'm in the plains and desert, I can be very difficult to kill. And Test of Time has really changed the civ selection screen. Now you can choose any civ in the game in any age, and they all have a whole host of new abilities. Again, you can either go for a civ that directly leans into the economic victory, or you can go for one that doesn't in order to fulfill some other niche. There are a lot of civs that work economically. Just keep an eye out for this economic symbol on the screen. Some of my favorites are Songhai, Aksum, Republic of Pirates, Carthage, Chola India, Great Britain, and Qing China. But today, in order to show you some of the test of time mechanics, we're going to be taking Spain. Spain is a very fantastic neutral civ. It gives you a little bit of everything from turn 1, and that bonus applies to all settlements. It's entirely fantastic, but also later in the game it has some wonderful abilities to give you extra gold to converting cities. Very handy indeed. This obviously is going to be a run on Deity difficulty with standard speed and continuity, age transition, which is generally speaking the fan favorite. I'm going to pick myself a Shattered Seas map because I love it and I think it's awesome. And we're going to be going for standard map size. I find if you go super small or super massive, it does change the strategy a little bit. Standard obviously is a good middle ground. Memento wise, anything that gives you a good ability to gold, trade routes, or resources tends to work really well. I'm going to try and keep this guide relatively neutral because depending on the mementos you pick, your game could go in very different directions. And I'd like to show you some of the mechanics in order to make sure this game works fully. So we're just going to be taking some attribute points today. We're going to be taking the economic attribute point and the scientific, and I'll explain my choices behind that later. And remember, like in every single one of my games, if you want to be playing this alongside me, you can. Just pop along to my Discord. The link is in the description of every video I put up on the channel. I've got the turn 1 save file for this game. You can literally copy copy and paste it onto your computer and you can play along. Fantastic. And here we are. What a wonderful game we have found ourselves in. Just looking at this start immediately, I can tell that we are set up for long-term economic success. Can you see why? The double camels? Yes, this is a lovely start. Remember, turn 1 save file in my Discord. Now on turn 1, there are a few things that you need to be looking at. Firstly, the settler lands. Is there fresh water on the tile that you are going to settle? You can settle anywhere you like as long as it's not red, but if you click one of these non-fresh water tiles, your city will not have the 5 happiness on the city center. And early game, that is a bit of a problem because it means you don't get to your early celebration very quickly. It means later down the line, the city's a little bit more susceptible to settlement limit happiness penalties if you go over your settlement limit. I would always advise settling on these blue tiles where you can, especially in Antiquity. Once you get into the later stages of the game, it doesn't matter anywhere near as much. For me, looking at these yields, I can claim 1, 2, 3, 4 resources, all within range. I've got a river, bottom right. It looks like I've got at least a few lumber, clay pits. We've got some mines. This is a pretty decent start. And if I think about the Spanish ability, Siglo de Oro, 1 food, 1 gold, and 1 production in coastal settlements, and settlements with an altar, and double if both. So it means I do want to settle on the coast. This is on the coast. I can tell just by leaving my cursor on that, and here we go, coastal tile. Wonderbar. Let's settle in, and of course, as is channel tradition, give the city immediately to one of my channel supporters. Lovely. It's also worth bearing in mind before you go too far into this turn, if you've picked attribute points, the game will not remind you to spend them. So come along and spend them. The economic pathway obviously is really useful because we have things like extra resource capacity, gold on trade routes, and gold on resources that work really well into the later stages of the game. Scientifically, keeping high science is very useful for an economic victory. We'll explain why in a little bit, but it does have a lot to do with things like this. Currency, 2 gold per turn, or GDP, from gold buildings. So this is the sort of thing you do kind of need to keep an eye out for. Having high science on an economic run is very useful. Early stages of the game, go for a couple of scouts, explore the world around you. The more exploration you do, the more you know about your continent and the more we can find resources. Resources, these things on the tiles are going to be the most important things that we need to settle by and the most important thing that we need to befriend as well. As you can see, I didn't actually press the attribute points. What a wonderful guide. There we go. We lost 1 turn's worth of 1 science and 1 gold. Splendid. What a guide, Ursa. What a wonderful guide. Okay, do as I say, not as I do. And one of the major changes for Test of Time are the new legacy pathways and triumphs. We're going to talk about victories in a second because that's going to be incredibly important. But if we have a look at triumphs, we'll notice that there are 2 types of them that we need to consider. Major triumphs, big objectives that will give us dedications to take through into the next age. And then minor triumphs that will give me a little bit of a boost in this age. They give you instantaneous bonuses. So as much as I would like major triumphs, we're going to be keeping our minors, at least for the first half of the age, because I want to see what we can do. The 2 economic pathway ones are quite interesting. Spend 10,000 gold and gain 2 merchants for 3. I'm going to track that. That's going to hopefully happen by itself, but we'll keep an eye on it. Gain a settler for 3, reveal 33% of the map. I hope to do that one as well, but it depends on the map spawn. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. It's tricky. And Trajan's Market, 18 empire resources. Again, tricky to do. We'll need a lot of trade routes to do it, but 1 gold for every empire resource is absolutely something we should try. And now we have a look at the victory screen. If we go into this little icon in the top left, economic. This is the victory we're going to be going for today. Now, just like with most victory types, as we go through the game and we go through ages, more pathways to gain points will open up. If we have a look through the bullet points here of all of the things that give us GDP, some of them don't mean anything right now. Factory resources are modern age only, and treasure convoys are exploration only. But the rest of this is very important for us. The economic victory is awarded to a leader when they achieve economic dominance against all other leaders. This dominance is measured by GDP. The following contributes GDP per turn. 2 per turn for each gold building from the current age after researching currency. There's a lot going on there. Basically, until we have currency, nothing happens. After that point, any gold building of the current current age, so for instance, Miss Market counts as one, and the Lighthouse counts as the other, each of those will give me 2 points per turn per building until the end of the age, and at that point the buildings become obsolete and we stop gaining gold per turn. City resources and bonus resources. 1 point per turn for each city and bonus resource assigned to a city, but not a town, after researching the wheel. So again, this is tech limited until we go down and unlock a wheel. We will not get any GDP, but if we go onto the resource screen, any of these slots that are filled, not the empire slots, that means nothing. The slots assigned to cities will each give me 1 per turn. And this is doubled up by imported resources. 1 additional point per turn for each resource imported via a trade route and assigned to a city after researching skilled trades. Skilled trades is a little bit different. It lives on the civic tree, so we're going to need a little bit of culture to do this. But this means that if we take a resource from a trade route and apply it to a city, we gain double points. So skilled trades is something we definitely want to be working towards, as is currency and wheel. Because of that, we're going to be starting with sailing. Sailing works the way through to currency. You need sailing, pottery, writing, and currency in that order to get through, or at least you can get pottery, then sailing if you wanted to. But the thing I like about sailing is not only can we get galleys and the harbor, which is quite a useful warehouse building, but the embarkation, allowing land units to go onto coastal terrain. It means, for instance, our scout could move onto the coast. I find that these goody huts, these discoveries on the map, a lot of them spawn on the coast, and a lot of the geography of the map is bound by the coast. So the earlier you get sailing, the more you unlock. So we're going to be using our scouts just to explore the local environment. We're probably going to try and get 2 or 3, and then we'll go from there. Excellent stuff. Now, in terms of early game civics, we want to be getting our mysticism as soon as we can for 2 reasons. Firstly, we want to unlock a Pantheon as soon as we can. The earlier we do that, the more choice we have. But secondly, we unlock priesthood, which gives us 2 gold per turn in all settlements. That's a really nice one to unlock early. So we'll head down this way, and we're going to just go for culture until we get that Pantheon nice and quickly. I realize as well, we have another source of camels. This is triple camel start. Wonderful. It's also worth bearing in mind that we want to unlock the altar as soon as possible, because for Spain, the altar actually gives us another food and gold and production. It's a lovely building to have. Early game, some tiles are better than others. This has an extra production and an extra happiness, so we're going to be claiming this. I do want to unlock my resources, but to be honest with you, none of these are particularly good early game. So just a little bit more production will help nicely. We just took a turn off our scout as well. Absolutely perfect. This is what I mean by sailing being useful. We have another discovery down there, but I'm going to have to probably embark to get it. We'll keep an eye on that one. I just claimed that fishing boat. It's on a reef, which means it has a bonus science, which helps me to get sailing a little bit quicker. Okay, 2 discoveries are protected by an aggressive city-state. This is terrible. I will try and grab these. Sometimes you can get in without the warrior attacking you, but I might lose this scout pretty quickly. Hoping I don't lose it quickly, but just be aware I might. If you see a unit building fortifications, sometimes you can get away with it though, so we'll give that a try. The good thing about a military city-state is that this actually gives you access very early game to settlement limit, which is one of the most valuable resources in the game. So I'm actually going to pick up the influence and see if we can spend the 170 to pick it up as soon as possible. I want to get to 5 population as soon as possible. We have a fishing boat, so I'm going to stack up a fishing key, which will give me a little bit of extra food on that tile, but also puts me to 5 population in 6 turns, which is a lovely synergy and one we're going to try and use. My goody hut has been found by another player, Boulevard of the Mayans. Very scientific, quite aggressive. We're playing economically, which means we want to trade with people, and I'm going to be trying to play this as defensively as possible. So I'm going to initiate friendly greetings with most people, and we're going to see if we can get on with people. That would be, well, the best option for us. Looks like he's on a different island. That's a lovely thing. I was worried we were going to be on the same island as him, but no, that's perfect. Okay, early game, we go culture to get that Pantheon as quickly as we can. So there's mysticism. We're still beelining towards writing and currency. So next one is pottery. Production on clay pits, but also clay pits, mines, and quarries on the brickyard is quite a useful building as well. Government-wise, we can actually choose to befriend Boulevard by picking the same government as him, but he hasn't chosen one yet. There's nothing that gives us gold, so in my opinion, the best one to go for is Classical Republic to hit the culture. Ideally, we want to get to currency policy as soon as possible, but science isn't as important. There's a lot of good stuff on the culture tree, like the Spanish Antiquity options and a lot of these different policies. I mean, I could go either way. We'll go for despotism for the science. I think I'm just going to lean into the attribute point I took. We do have the +1 science. I might as well use it. Also looks like there's a lot of tundra on the bottom of my island, so the culture output should be nice and high. Science might be the tougher one to get. Early game, save your influence. Unless it really directly gives you something that's useful, don't be spending it. Oh, that's a nice chunk of production. Bam, look at that. We've actually saved a turn on our next settler. Lovely. An economic city-state. Aggressive, again, which isn't ideal, but this will be really good for making some gold in the mid stages of the game. Beautiful. I'm also spending a bit of time making sure we're discovering all of this land. We need to know where other people are. -50 gold for 60 science is quite the trade-off here. Do I really want to rush pottery like this? Probably not. Let's go for the food and get ourselves that salt, which means that we actually have 20% production towards training units. If I want to boat spam, well, that'll be useful. There's the 5 population. We can go for a settler, which I'm going to go for relatively quickly here. Settlement limit is a really important concept. We want to be using as much of a settlement limit as we can as quickly as we can, because points, well, pretty much all economic points are dictated on the number of settlements you have. The more settlements you have, the more resources you have, the more cities you have. So it always makes sense to have more. More. That's the idea anyway. We'll see if that proves to be correct. Isabella is not happy at us because we've taken Spain, but she has appeared. It looks like there's a lot of islands connected to each other here. Again, friendly greeting. We're going to just behave. We're going to play nicely with people. Keep a nice high relationship. Mexico is a funny old civ. It can be taken in a lot of different directions with its unique celebration. We'll keep an eye on Mexico and see what they are going to be doing. More culture. Excellent. Scientific city-state. This one, friendly. Good. It's nice to have at least a couple of friendly people on the map, don't you think? Again, early game, we're looking for a coastal settlement that ideally has allocatable resources and fresh water. Tricky to do, but I think I'm going to go and settle up here. It's a little close to the capital, which isn't ideal, but I can get access to this turtles resource, which is really nice. Extra culture and warehouse buildings is a very good resource. It also gives me a nice place to be trading with the Mayans at a later point. And if I don't settle here, I strongly suspect they will. The AI does be like that. Now, I'm going to quickly get the animal husbandry here because the saw pit gives production on woods, and I'm picking up quite a few woods tiles. These are really, really good tiles. That, I believe, is a breathtaking tile, which is why it's got 2 happiness. Very nice for me. I'd like another settler, but I'm going to take a warrior now to escort the settler because this one's going to be needing to go down in this direction, and there's a lot of danger down here. We'll befriend this independent power. Hopefully they will be nice to us now, but there's still a lot of things that can kill us very quickly, which we're not a huge fan of. To find discoveries, get as many of these as you can and keep heading towards that Pantheon as quick as we can. Speaking of, celebration kicks in, 20% science for 10 turns, lovely, and we'll pop in priesthood so we can get a bit of gold going. Now, what Pantheons are left? Oh, none have been taken. Okay, we've got full reign. I don't really want to be thinking about this too much. I can take the influence on the city patron goddess. That is useful. I think gold on woodcutters and camps would be good. I've got a few of those in the capital. Stone circles is obviously always really good. No, I'm going to go for God of the Sun. I like this one. Culture, food, gold, happiness, production, and science. 6 resources on an altar. Really quite good. And it synergizes quite nicely with the fact that the Spanish bonus just gives us stuff for having an altar anyway. So I quite like that. So we'll make this settler as soon as we can, and then we'll look to get the altar quickly. Actually, you know what? Let's go for the altar first. This looks like a tile that isn't really going to have too much usefulness on it. So we'll get that, and it'll just work us a little bit more land in that area. Oh, it looks like we're having an eclipse. This is a narrative event that pops in every now and then. Minus 50% science or minus 50% happiness. We'll take the happiness for 3 turns. I just started a celebration, so that's absolutely fine. We're just going to take a quick dip into Spain origins. This gives me 1 settlement limit, a tradition slot, and a tradition, which is Cerro Rico. 1 gold on all resources. Again, we're just stacking those things on resources. That'll help us just to make a little bit more gold as we go through. Excellent. And, oh, Friedrich of Prussia, a very angry, aggressive civ, and I've run out of influence. I'm going to have to just give a neutral greeting. We will keep an eye on you. Lots of different neighbors. Culture, military and science all around us. I don't know what that means for me in the long run, but we will keep an eye out. Just keep accepting endeavors from other people. There's no harm in doing it, really. And the nice thing about doing this is that the relationship increases with people and they're less likely to attack you, which is wonderful. Here we go, Sinikush, second settlement, and we'll get a source of horse. Now, this is an empire resource. It gives my cavalry units +1 combat strength. However, it does not allocate to a city or to a town, and therefore it does not give me any economic points. Just be aware of that. Empire resources obviously give you empire bonuses, but they do not help with an economic victory in any way. So don't be too disappointed if you find that they're not doing anything for you. Oh, natural wonder. What a start for Boulevard. I didn't get a natural wonder. Where's my natural wonder? You can see we've revealed 400 tiles already. We're well on our way to revealing a third of the map, and we've got our first empire resource. We haven't purchased anything with gold so far, which is not great, but we will. The gold will make its way into our empire eventually. In fact, one of the triumphs that we want to keep an eye on is this one, Orphic Mysteries. First to have 6 altars. I'm not necessarily going to use the dedication, but it reminds us that we actually want to be using altars as quickly as we can because we're playing Spain. As animal husbandry, the saw pit is now an option. There's a scientific city-state that Friedrich is working on down here. We don't mind city-states. They are people that we can trade with. I'd rather they existed than something angry. Okay, writing into currency that we can start getting our points. You may have noticed but I'm spending quite a lot of time just exploring my neighbor's continent. People often forget to do this, but you need every tile unlocked around your neighbors because you need to know where the trade routes are going to be sent. Like if I don't know every single tile, the trade routes might not work, and later in the game, you're going to regret that. So just be aware. That's why I'm doing this. This is a different continent, this purple landmass. I'm actually just trying to think about where to put my next settlement down. I was thinking about this tile, but it's very close to the capital. So this one's better. Hop across the landmass. I can still work the dates and the camels and the cotton, but it's just a little bit further away. It might put my settlement more at risk of being attacked by Friedrich, but you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs, and you can't make a few eggs without breaking a few omelets. Everyone knows this. You can't omelette an egg until you egg an omelette. Watch the yields in my capital when the altar finishes. This tile is going to be beautiful, and it is beautiful. Oh, we've got the food, the production, the science, the culture, everything coming in from having that altar. Absolutely lovely. Let's get the settlers out now. We'll make 2 more. One's going to settle over on this island, and I think I am going to send one down here. Although, unfortunately, there isn't much fresh water on the coast down here. We're missing out on a bit of a happiness, but what can you do? It looks like the land that I'm looking to settle on is far enough away from Friedrich that hopefully it's not going to be a problem, but we will keep an eye on that just in case. Apparently, Isabella just settled too close to me. I can't see it, but I got the influence from it, and that's a good thing. We like influence, so we'll take it. Again, I don't know what she did to me there, but it's good. Yeah, Berlin is ages away from everything. That's fine. Just saved 360 gold up, so I'm gonna get myself another altar. I like all these extra yields, and the Spanish bonuses make this even more attractive. So there you go. Bam. A town is making me some very, very decent yields already. I would quite like my capital to have a little bit more production now, and luckily for me, there's some really good production buildings, but I should get the settler out first. So we're gonna go settler, and then build a quarter with a saw pit and a brickyard, and that between them should give me about another 7 production. Here is a turtle. The turtle gives culture on warehouse buildings, which is lovely. So we'll allocate it to the capital. That'll give me a little bit of extra gold for Amina's bonus and the culture on top. Upon is gonna be a bit of a problem, unfortunately. It's now starting to throw some warriors at me, so I'm gonna have to just quickly get a slinger built. This is not too difficult to do. Just sits in the city center and attacks things, but I wish I didn't have to do that. Oh, Friedrich and Boulevard appear to shame they have got the same island and they're gonna settle right next to each other. Oh, you're not gonna get on. That's wonderful. I shouldn't enjoy that so much, but I will. I will enjoy that. And here is my 3rd settlement on a different continent. Zaragoza. Bobtway, you have this one. Gonna give ourselves 10% production towards all buildings rather than 15% in the capital, because we will have more than one city. And you gain yourself this cotton, which is 2 food and 2 production. And I can immediately allocate that to the capital. These yields. Oh yeah. Now, currency. Specialists are good, markets are better, and more importantly, 2 gold per turn. We want to start to generate as many of these points as quickly as we can. Now we're gonna go go through the tree. I would love to get Steely, but I'm going to save myself from not going for wonders this game that don't apply directly to economy. So we're going to go discipline, gain the survey card for our scouts, and then we're going to go code of laws to unlock the trade routes, which are very, very handy indeed. And here we go. 1 gold on resources. Bam. We've got 4 of them in my empire so far. So that's 4 gold per turn. And you can see our gold per turn is already starting to jump up nicely here. Another celebration, another opportunity for some science and tool making for more production and science in the capital. Up to 19 production per turn. That is pretty good. We can get it a lot higher, but it makes a lot of difference in the early game, just making sure we get all those settlers up. Some resources to the south of me I would quite like. Can't get fresh water, which is really annoying, but salt, cowrie, which is really good for the science. Rubies is good for gold. Yeah, we're going to head down in this direction, see if we can survive Opone for long enough to do that. Great Barrier Reef. Looks like Isabella had a Great Barrier Reef start. That would explain the 51 science per turn. Absolutely outrageous. Again, we need to be making sure we know where all our settlements are so that we can trade with them as soon as possible. Keep an eye out for this trade lens. You can see I can't trade with these 2 settlements because they don't have access to the water, but I can trade with bark. And this is because we have discovered enough of the map. So this is why using scouts is so important with these economic runs. You really do need to make sure that you discover as much as possible. Anyway, using our settlement limit, we are the first person we know up to 4 settlements. The more towns, the better. Towns make production, they make gold from the production, and you just generally have more and more yields from them as you go. We're going to be going initially for those rubies because I think they're going to be quite good. A little bit of my towns eating land from my capital, but you can swap tiles now, which is useful, so it's not permanently rubbish. And watch this saw pit. We're on 19 production in Madrid right now, up to 23. Big increase. That's lovely. Isabella actually interestingly rejected open borders, which is a sign she wants to get fruity. So we don't want to, you know, and this is my last, I always say this, we don't want to make sure, hang on, how do I say this? We want to make sure that we don't have 0 army in this game. You see, like, I'm so bad at making an army, I can't even convince myself to talk about it. Oh dear. Some boats will stop this crossing and will basically keep us safe, which is lovely. But I've just picked up a copy of Camels, the most important resource of an economic victory in the first 2 ages. This increases resource capacity in the city by 2. Look at that. Oh, absolutely wonderful. We can stack resources in Madrid over and over and over with this, which is beautiful. So we're absolutely going to make sure that we do that as much as we can. My 3rd altar, let's just pop that down immediately. Lovely. And we're up to 49 gold per turn. We haven't got any gold buildings down at the moment, but we will eventually. Now finishing off the harbor, making a quarter next to the palace, which gives me a little bit more science and culture. It also puts production on that fishing boat, which is awesome. Looks like Friedrich is actually going to settle right between everyone here. I was thinking about popping a settler on this piece of land to trade with Boulevard, but if Friedrich does it for us, well, that kind of takes that idea away. I mean, this is Civ 7, there is no loyalty in this game, so the AI does have a habit of wandering their troops halfway across the land in order to settle in the weirdest ways, and that is always going to be a problem, so just keep that in mind. Dates. 2 food, 2 happiness. Yes, the town would like that, but my capital likes it more because I get gold. Same with the rubies. As long as there's space in the capital, things go in there. Another 5 gold per turn. We're up to 62 gold per turn. Wow. We're making more gold than everyone else put together at the moment. Well, at least that we've met. We don't have any more settlement limit at the moment is the problem. So settling wildly means that we'd go over settlement limit. That would be -5 happiness in all settlements. And well, a couple of my settlements don't have any happiness at the moment. So that would give a bit of a penalty. I might as well just sit and be peaceful with what I've got for a second. I think we're just going to pop a granary down on this tile just to work that camels quickly. And also to open up a library slot that has 2 resource adjacency. I've got my commander. It will be nice to start generating some promotions. I'm not going to be using it for war. So I think actually going zeal and leadership nice and quick, 5% to all yields when stationed on a district. That's the sort of thing that does multiply. So we might have some defensive generals today. Hawaii Rizal. That's a very strong combination. Friendly greeting. Rizal tends to play well with Hawaii. Very high happiness, very high culture. We'll kind of keep that in mind. Train a merchant for 200 gold gold or get a commander commission. I'm actually going to go for the merchant here. I'm going to be training a merchant soon with Code of Laws anyway. So let's do that. And here's survey. Let's get rid of tool making. Pop that in briefly. Now my scouts have a little bit more sight and extra movement as well. So they're going to be able to explore around the map way better than before. Upon is raiding me at the moment, but in 3 turns, they'll be friendly towards me. So I'm kind of just ignoring it for a bit. I'm saying, fine, I didn't even want it. It's not even me. I think we'll be fine here. Just taking a while. 24 gold is what it cost me, that pillage. I'll survive, you know? I'll survive. Okay, 3 turns. There's the library, 5 science, and a place to put a codex. Just helps to push through the tree. A gold resource and 2 cowrie, and I believe this island has fresh water there. So this is actually a really good place for a settlement. Okay, this changes things in terms of order. We'll finish the library, then we'll go for the settler. Instead of Code of Laws, I'm tempted to open up settlement limit. Actually, we're going to go irrigation after this, and that will do it. Why is this settler still running around, Friedrich? I don't like where that's going. If that settles near me, there'll be trouble. Well, I say that. There won't be trouble. I'll basically just say, oh no, and then do nothing about it. The worst sort of trouble. Inaction. Lafayette of France. Somebody else to meet. Friendly greeting. If we can meet everyone on the map, at least we'll kind of have visibility over what people are doing. City-state bonus. I don't need anything here apart from the settlement limits. So actually, that is really useful. We're up to 5, so I could make that settler and go and settle this island. I'm tempted to settle over here as well. I was going to say, if Boulevard didn't settle it, but it looks like they will. Doesn't matter. As long as they settle, I can send them a trade route. So I don't mind if I own the settlement or if somebody else does. People get very attached to, oh, it needs to be our settlement. It doesn't at all. Oh, this is good. Expansionist city-state. 238 influence. We'll start stacking that up as quickly as we can. Oh, before I forget, another altar. Bam. The yields are pouring in. We're up to 61 gold per turn now. And Sanakush Cordoba can now be focused, which I'm just going to leave for a little bit. We don't have anything to worry about right now. I'm just going to let this continue to grow. But be aware, we've hit 7 population. That is a choice we can now start to think about making. This is Assyria Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is normally a really, really good ally. So we're going to have a friendly greeting and we're going to try and make friends with Gilgamesh because as long as we have an alliance, we can accept any endeavor that he sends me, which is lovely. We already start with plus 30. That's really good. Yeah, hopefully he sends me loads of things. I'll send him trade routes. That will help our relationship as well. Now to irrigation. We have currency. We have access to the market and we are now making 2 gold per turn from gold buildings, which I don't have any at the moment, but I will do very soon because I have now access to this market and I have a lovely 4 adjacency tile here. So we'll make sure we build that nice and quickly. Another camel. Trust me, in the long run, these camels are going to be the thing that wins me the game. And here we go. Gilgamesh is starting to offer me things. I am going to just start supporting anything he gives me. That culture is quite useful. I would love to be an ally with him, and supporting endeavors gives you a lot more relationship boost than not. Yokib was settled there. Okay, that was very tempting as a place to go, but I think we're going to go for this gold and this cowrie, so we'll head to this tile there. It just gives me a bit of access towards Spain as well. The Grand Canyon. Oh, that's where Gilgamesh is. Very good to know. I'm also considering whether or not to make a city. I actually have enough gold to do it right now, and it is tempting, but I'm trying to think, is there a need for a city right now? I don't know the answer to that because I've got space for resources, so we don't need to necessarily worry about that per se. It's just whether or not the land would be good for a city. Cordoba and Madrid have I could probably make this into sort of one big city by combining this. 9 production is okay. I'd lose a little bit of gold per turn. Yeah, at the moment, I'm not convinced. I think I'm just going to hold until I work out if there's a better location for a city, because I just don't know about that one. Stage of the game has happened now where my scouts are beginning to get picked off, but their scouting is still very, very useful. We need to know where everyone is. We need to know where every trade route is. We've still got lots of goodie huts we're picking up. There's irrigation. More settlement limit. Fantastic. We're going to pick up writing 2 to gain a 3 codex, which gives me more science, but then we're going to head towards masonry and the wheel. The wheel gives me GDP for resources assigned to cities. I do want to start picking that up at some point, given the fact that other people have. And there's the market. Look at that. 7 lovely gold per turn. And it's something I do want to consider. You know, I think down here might be a good location for a city. Loads of space and it's on a different continent. You kind of want to have, if you can, 1 city per continent. That tends to be quite good. Yeah, let's head down there. We need somewhere with a lot of space. Another settler, 3 turns. That's all we need. So, towns. Obviously, you can spend your gold on warehouse buildings, which I do want to do eventually. But now that we've unlocked the market, I'm going to unlock a trade outpost. Now, this gives happiness to resources in the town. It gives extra trade route range, but also can purchase additional gold buildings in this town. Let's do it. And, hey presto, market, 376 gold. Let's plonk that down to adjacency. It's not the best. That is another gold building now, and we can reallocate that population. Pop it over here. Another celebration. Tool making's back in. And here is my 5th settlement, Valencia, which has made this one less friendly with me, but that's okay. They weren't friendly with me anyway. Here is a Cowrie, which gives 4 gold in cities. Could give me science in towns, but I'd rather keep it in the city because of Amina's bonuses, so that's lovely. Oh, this scout is absolutely dead. Trapped in by a bow to slinger and 2 warriors. Sorry about that. Did Gilgamesh mind that? No, that wasn't too close to Gilgamesh. He didn't mind that settle, actually. That's really good. Maybe we go over here now. Loads of potential places to settle still. We're going to annoy somebody at some point, but you're always going to do that. So you might as well just lean into it, I think. Goodbye, Mr. Scout. Speaking of, we should probably make some more scouts to keep exploring. Although, who's this? The trading Xerxes of Persia. Okay, he's actually quite good to know. He tends to really send you trade routes quite well. And bam, triumph complete. 33% of the map explored, gain a settler. Absolutely fantastic. We can trade 95 gold per turn for a migrant, which is very cool. A migrant is basically a 3 rural population, and in the capital that requires more food than most. That's a really good pickup. Keep picking up these high production tiles, keep gaining all the land. We're up to 35 production now. Excellent. A little bit of gold as well. Look, it's another altar. Let's grab that. That's my 5th. Really pushing into the Spanish bonuses. Code of laws. Okay, 2 extra influence per turn is nice, but we have the merchant, which means we can make a trade route. We can get more resources. We're looking for things that do either really good empire bonuses, like for instance, there's a lovely gold resource that would give me 5 gold and 5 happiness. Things like camels are really good. Put those in the capital, or allocable resources like this trade route to Berlin is really good. Like all these trade routes are good. We're going to go and send the merchant down there. It's going to take 11 turns to get down there, but it's worth the wait. 200 gold. There you go, for making a merchant. It was free, which is great. Now we just spam a couple more. 1, 2, make sure those merchants are going everywhere. Next up, Mysticism 2. Clan Networks is a really good card, but Great Steely still hasn't been built, and that is a really good wonder, so I might as well try and get it. Okay, I just took my commander, Galactic Emperor Poppy Dude, up to the north to do the fighting I needed for the 5% on all yields. I don't really need to do much more now. I'm trying to work out whether to kill that city-state, but no, I think I won't. Or do I? Oh... It's tempting. There is possible settlement limit in that. No, we're going to behave ourselves. This once. Actually, this will increase my relationship with Gilgamesh, won't it? All right, let's disperse it. There you go. Yeah, +10. And we get military point, which means that we can go for +5 combat strength on all independents. Actually, no, we're going to go down this side. I like the +1 settlement limit more, so we'll go for +1 war support. It means if anybody does declare a war on us, we have buffer. I realize this AI is making more gold than me. 150. I don't like that. That's really annoying. Buy another market and we'll pretend we didn't see that because that makes me unhappy. This gold will help. 1 gold and 1 happiness in all settlements. The more settlements you have, the better that card is. Better that empire resource is. Lovely. So if we have a look at the economic graph, you can see that some people research things quicker than others. I'm in 6th place economically, but my green line is beginning to catch up with everyone else because we are making 4 points per turn. 2 from every market. Bolivar is making 4, which means he's got the same as me. 7 for Isabella. I imagine it's because she's got resources that are assigned as well. Gold buildings, Rizal, Oblique. Okay, so everyone's kind of got the same idea. Don't worry, we'll catch up. We'll make this work. Build a monument nice and quick. Bit of influence, lots of culture. Clan networks, 20% extra growth rate in all towns with growing focus, which is all of them at the moment. Perfect. I would like skilled resources, skilled trades, I should say, but we're just going to dip into Spanish Foundation and or syncretism. What are my syncretism options? We could go for 2 gold gold on districts on or adjacent to coast, which is nice. The Egyptian necropolis. This is a gold building, which is really cool because this is an ageless gold building, which means I get the points every single age, which is really cool. And we've actually got Carthage as well for the dockyard for the same thing. The difference here really is Egypt would give me gold every time I made a wonder, but Carthage gives me resource capacity and extra in the capital. I think we might go for the Punic port. Let's go for syncretism. Carthage is always a very, very strong option in all games, but particularly economic games. So we'll try and lean into that a little bit. A gold city-state. Gold on saw pits and harbors is the sort of thing that stacks quite nicely. 2 resource capacity in the capital means more points, which is always good. Gold on trade routes is small, but that does improve. 4 production on a resource beginning of the game is very nice. I think I might take 4 gold on gold buildings, given the fact we're building so many of these now. Let's do that. I already have 3 markets, so that's already, yeah, like 12 gold per turn. And we're just waiting for the next town to hit 7 population so I can build another market. Oh, +1 codex. Take those if you can. They add a lot of science to your nation, and economically, we often have very low science, so it's worth keeping an eye on that. Now, points. Do you think Spain will A, be really happy with this settlement, or B, really, really angry with this settlement? If you answered B, you are correct, but I don't care. I don't care. This is a really good place to have nice trade routes, and I would like all of these resources for myself. I'm just going to actually pick up a fishing key just to connect this to the capital, and then now I can get this wine, which gives me the happiness and the culture and claims that tile for myself. We've got touching borders now. Isabella's not going to like me for doing that, but equally we don't care. So I just want to keep that in mind, okay? We don't really care. I kind of should have expected that. Okay, this is a sanction that would lose me 14 gold per turn, which is painful. So I'm going to reject it. I keep trying to get my influence high enough to take over another city-state, but not really working at the moment. Maybe I send open markets now to Gilgamesh. He will accept it, but we just need to push him over the line and make him an ally. More codexes, codexes, whatever it is, it's wonderful. Now a lovely altar, again, just to claim more land, but also we first have 6, which means we unlock piety immediately if we wanted to. We're almost halfway through the age. We should probably have a look now at some of the bigger triumphs and see which ones we would want to take through. Ally with 2 leaders is really, really good. 5 settlements, or 5 happiness in settlements per alliance. I think I want that. We're going to actually spend some influence here to try and befriend people. 1 resource capacity in all settlements, that would be good. Just keep assigning resources. 1 trade route capacity with all civilizations is good. 7 trade routes. And a little bit of extra gold purchasing. That's small, but that is useful as well. All right, we've got loads of quests on the right, on the left of the screen now. Something we'll do. So doing a little bit of forecasting here. We are 46% of the way through the age. We're going to be hitting exploration next. And in exploration, we need treasure, specifically treasure convoys. This is any type of resource really that applies to a distant land. And looking at the map, you can see the way this game is spawned. Well, there aren't really any distant lands around me, apart from, it looks like, over here. We can't see exactly, but we need to be able to trade with it. So a priority as I go and settle over here in a very unpriority-like way is to go and settle this coast. Make sure I have this access so that if there is any treasure over here, I can trade with it. It looks like other distant lands are going to be quite tricky to get. Maybe there's some over in this direction. We'll keep an eye out for it, because what you do is you basically find somewhere that's got distant lands like this area, and you say, okay, right, there's going to be a bunch there. So I'm going to move a settler onto the homelands as close as I can, like maybe there on this island somewhere, and then the treasure can come back to this point rather than having to go all the way home. We'll explain that as we get closer to it. Okay, this is settlement number 7. We are going to go 1 over the limit at this point, which means we're going to stop celebrating, but I don't mind that because we're already basically using every policy and tradition slot that we've got. And looking at it, if all of our towns take a -5, it's only Bob Tway that would suffer the most. And well, I'm very sorry that you are a sacrifice I am willing to make. So there we go. Corona. It is my 7th settlement. We have access to a bunch of cool stuff. Most importantly, it's a really good way of trading with this area. Lovely. These will be useful. 2 dye resources. We'll just keep those in mind for later. First trade route. This one is going to Boulevard, and we're going to get 3 empire resources. So these aren't particularly useful for the economic victory. I get a little bit of gold because I'm Spain, but mainly it's just 2 food in every settlement, 10% production production on wonders, and some iron for combat strength, and a bit of a relationship boost. We needed one, not exactly getting on right now. In the meantime, the resources continue to pile in. Everything goes into the capital, continue to get more and more gold. Seeing as it still hasn't been built, I am going to go for Great Steely because it means that all wonders give me gold after that point, which would be very handy. If you see this, it means that somebody else is building the wonder, and because you're on Deity, they're probably going to build it before you. No matter. We're not really going for wonders. I was doing it because we had a little bit of excess capacity. If we miss it, it doesn't matter. You'll see that specialists are beginning to appear. I am going to just get this palace one because the 3 science, 3 culture does look quite appealing to me. I tend not to go very heavy with specialists beginning of the game. I prefer to stick with the rural improvements, at least until the specialists begin to get better. They will get better. They just sort of take a little bit of time to get there. Ah, another altar. Wonderful. Yeah, there goes the wonder. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Wonders are not really what we're going for today. I mean, I could go Hanging Gardens for the expansionist point. Petra is also useful, but no. I think we're going to instead put the money into the settlement capacity into the settler. I'm going to send you over to this right-hand side of the continent and set up for the next stage. And you can see we are gaining on second place economically, and we're gaining 6 points per turn. Isabella is still gaining 9 points per turn, which means that she is earning the most out of everyone. So to go from 6 to 8, we're just going to keep getting these trade outposts, keep buying the markets every time we can. Well, here's a good trade route. Mosh, 2 camels and a date. Look at this. 1, 2, and 3. And this is worth pointing out. Do you see how these 3 resources have this sort of triangle shape below them? That means they're traded resources, which means when I get all of the appropriate civics later in the game, these are worth more GDP per turn than the other ones. It's just worth bearing in mind that that is a mechanism. Oh, trade route gives me economic points. I want to get to resource capacity in cities, which is down this way. So we're going to go for gold per age, every active trade route. This encourages me to get more trade routes out, which is lovely. And Berlin, this is a lot of resources on this trade route. Jade, which gives 10% extra gold in the city. Pearls will give me some happiness. Salt for more unit production. Fish for more food. And deer for more food. I know some of these resources are better in towns, but I would prefer them in the cities. Just have to take my word for that one. Boulevard wants to denounce me. This is kind of why I like to keep a little bit of influence. We're going to start rejecting stuff like this. It's expensive, but I do not want to go to war with anybody. I want to stay positive. I want to be annoyingly lovable. I don't want anyone to hate me because I want to be able to trade with everybody later into the game. So I'm going to just keep making merchants here. The more trade routes we have, the better. And I do want 7 trade routes to get Silk Roads active. That's the triumph that we're looking for. That'll give me a big boost in the next age. All right, the 4th gold building. This market gives me 10 gold per turn and allows me to move the resource to get the cavalry, which I can then allocate to the capital, which is now full. Okay, from this point onwards, we do have to start thinking about moving things to towns, although we can first do syncretism. So as discussed, the Spain affirmation districts next to coast is pretty good. The Dow is an amazing unit from Axum as well. Being able to create trade routes from boats really speeds this up because merchants get more and more expensive. Boats do not. So I do like that, but I'm going to get this. Carthage, Punic Port, 5 extra resource capacity in the capital, and another ageless gold building that I can build in towns. Thank you very much, Carthage. Now, this merchant does want to get built, but I want to finish the Punic Port as quickly as I can. Let's start with the Cothon for 6 extra production, and then the dockyard on top of it. As you can see, the dockyard can be bought in towns in trade outposts. We're going to buy those with greater priority than the markets. The markets are good, but in exploration, they stop giving points, whereas the Carthage ones are ageless. So we're going to be doing those. Let's pick up Spanish Foundation quickly. +1 resource capacity in settlements with gold building. Well, I have one of those in my capital. That's lovely. And a settlement limit. Then we'll go back into the regular tree. Okay, there's the wheel. 1 gold per turn, or I keep saying gold per turn. 1 GDP for resources assigned to cities, not towns. This is why I'm leaving everything in cities and not the towns. But we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 21 resources, which means 8 per turn, 8 points per turn that I'm getting currently. No. Don't you worry about that. We're going to be getting a lot more. Navigation next. I want to unlock the lighthouse. It is another gold building that I can be building once I've finished with all of Carthage's buildings, which might take me some time. Just going to quickly thread in a galley because I think I'm about to get invaded and I don't like it. I'm in this picture. I don't like it. Let's just check back in. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Assigned bonus resources 10. Assigned city resources resources. 10. That's 20 extra points per turn. It says last turn 8. I don't agree with that, but my line is beginning to catch up with everyone else's now. So just keep everything assigned and we shall be fine, probably. Keep the trade routes going for as long as you can. There's another source of rice, which is handy. Extra food in all settlements means our settlements grow very quickly indeed. Now, some resources like these rubies, it doesn't matter if that's in a town or not. So we'll pop that in, and deer are actually better. Wild game is better in other towns. So we'll pop it there for now. A dockyard. In it goes. We can't build the full district, but it is a lovely gold building, and it gives a bit of food on top of that, which is great. And after just a few turns, we've actually taken the economic lead. Look at that. Boom. Because we are making 31 points per turn compared to the next best of +9. And so we're going to just keep focusing on this. Gold buildings and assigning buildings or resources to cities. In fact, if we can find more camels, we can start to increase this number even more, which is very much what we would like to do. So we'll go for that. Turtles. Turtles are worth 5 culture in the capital right now. So we absolutely would like to have those in. Start taking out the resources that don't really do anything in the capital. Or actually, we do want the gold. The gold is good. Okay, hang on. Food and happiness. Those are resources that could probably go out. Pop those out, and then we'll put the rubies back in because the jade is actually increasing the gold per turn. We've got 10% extra, so we want to keep that in while we can. That's good. Triumph complete. +1 resource capacity in all settlements for next stage. Very handy. Another trade outpost. Build more dockyard. And we now have the opportunity to make another settler, which I'm just gonna hold off on. We're on 7 of 6, and in 2 turns we gain another settlement limit. I really want to jump too far over the settlement limit, so we're just gonna hold off just temporarily. I can ally with Gilgamesh, by the way. I'm just waiting until he goes to peace with Lafayette. If I ally him now, he'll drag me into the warp, and I don't want that. Well, actually, hang on. This is the celebration. Oh, well, now we've celebrated, we might as well settle. Here is Barcelona. Found 8 settlements. Towns gain an additional 2 population with their first growth event. Oh, that's really cool for some peace. I don't think I need that next stage, but I do like that. That's a fun idea. So in usual fashion, we settle, we alter. We do not alter that strategy for anyone. Spanish Foundation, which means we can put merchant class in, which I'm going to do. Sorry, tool making, in you go. Resource capacity and settlements with a gold building. Combining that with the Punic port, which I've just finished in the capital, as you can see, we now have additional space for all of these resources in the city. Yes, some of them are better in towns. That's not what we're going to worry about. These are all giving us economic points, so we might as well just keep adding it up. Look at this. Look at this line. Woof, as we shoot up above everyone else. We're earning 33 points per turn. Isabella still struggling to catch up. And we have an economic attribute point, which I'm going to take, as we're going to get 15% purchasing in all settlements. That's cities, that's towns. That means we can be building more of our wonderful buildings. A dockyard is now only 512 gold, which is lovely. So let's get them built. Aha! 10,000 gold? No, 8 gold buildings, which is the extra dedication for gold. Okay, that's really good for next stage. It's worth pointing out that this town has gobbled up all the resources it's going to gobble, and it now has all of its gold buildings. So I'm just going to leave that one on trade outpost. A bit of extra happiness, but now the food is going to go back to Madrid. Let's start to pump in food into the capital just a little bit. Now to skill trades. Extra GDP per turn for imported resources. We've got a few of those. We might as well enjoy them, I think. Speaking of, more merchants, please. Let's get as many of these rocking as we can. Similar thing down in the south. Tun Moon has everything it needs, so I'm going to leave that on trade outpost now and just let it sit. I think it's time for my second city. I like to have 1 city on every continent. That means that whenever we focus towns, they all go to different continents properly, which I really like. So helicopter kicker at Corona, you'll make a good second city. Well, bam. Now I have a second place for resources to go. You know, barely any of my resources are giving production, which is wild. So in usual fashion, we're just gonna get you to start with production. Finish off the harbor, get yourself a brickyard, and then we'll check back in with you in a second. Economic attribute point from having 3 trade routes. Well, I've already done that, so thank you very much. 10 gold for every alliance you have. It sounds really good, but it's not. We're gonna go for 1 gold for every imported resource and head down this way to get extra resource capacity in all cities. So buying a Cothon in my second city. Next turn, we'll build a dockyard just to increase the production production even more. Just checking in with the economic graph. Yeah, we're still doing pretty good. 43 points per turn coming in now. We're now 4 times above the next person. You can't win the game in Antiquity, but we are definitely helping ourselves here. Navigation gives us access to the lighthouse, another gold building, and more resource capacity in a city. Means I probably want to get one of those in the capital fairly ASAP. There's the lighthouse. Some good adjacency on this thing as well. I know every time I get enough influence to do something, people denounce me and I lose all my influence, which is a shame, but what are you gonna do? It's fine. You see what I mean? Save your influence. Stops you from getting into wars. It's very good. Okay, now we're gonna head towards mathematics because the academy is really good and means we can get some good production buildings along the way as well. Silver, golden food and all settlements. Again, that's an empire resource that we like. We need 5 more of those to get Trajan's market complete. The harbor finished. I think that's most production buildings finished now. We'll just get this saw pit done and we're already up to 23 production in our second city. It's not quite the 43 that our capital has, but it's pretty good nonetheless. We're up to 300 gold per turn now, which is nice. This boat, I tell you what, there's a city-state over here, Caffness, which keeps sending boats all the way around, and I don't know how they're doing it, but it is frustrating. They need to stop. 50 gold or +1 gold on market. I'd rather take the gold on market, seeing as I've got so many of them. That'll make the 50 gold pretty quickly. This war needs to end, Gilgamesh. I want to make an ally of you, but you're just being annoying. Now Friedrich wants to denounce me as well. That is unfortunate. He was somebody that I was looking potentially to be a friend with in the long run, but his agenda doesn't match mine. He likes somebody with a lot of military units, and I don't have any military units. I've just built another boat. I'm just like a couple just to man this waterway, but I should probably build more. That is fair. Let's just build a few. Otherwise, if I don't do it now, I'm going to regret not doing it later. Still building the dockyards. This is basically all my gold is going on, is gold makes gold. Checking in with the economic, you can see we are now almost 3 times above the next person, making 50 points per turn. Excellent. I was going to trade with Dusseldorf. I fear this may not be a good long-term improvement, but let's improve trade relations, salvage some of the relationship as quickly as we can. There we go. This is a lot of extra resource, so we'll take it. Get those economic points out for as long as we can. Just finishing another monument. I'm trying to get my influence as high as possible to try and be able to do things like improve the trade routes, sort of thing that gets quite tough quite quickly. We've now unlocked the barracks. It's useful. Probably get that built as soon as we can. Okay, well, these denunciations are going to get through eventually. That's unfortunate. And as you can see, Friedrich, it looks like Friedrich is building an army and planning to send it over. Luckily, I do have the boats. I did have the foresight. This is the thing about Civ 7, like any Civ game. There is an order to how effective military units are. The land is the least effective. Navy beats land every time because as long as you control the seas, the land can't get to you. And then the air beats Navy because how are you supposed to sail a boat if someone's got a plane bombing you? So we need to make sure we keep these boats up. I'm just trying to get 7 trade routes. If I can do that quickly, that would be awesome. But I believe this is every settlement. Oh, 2-3 merchants. Oh, that's amazing. That is all 7 settlements. No, 8 settlements, I should say, with the unique Carthage building. Oh no, hang on. Is it? Dockyard, 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 and dockyard. 8 dockyards. Perfect. Now we're back to markets and then to lighthouses. Okay, there's the war. Friedrich has declared on me. Fine. As I say, defensive wars are better for me. And actually, it looks like he's gone for this land settlement, which is on desert. So I get +5 combat strength. The grassland, not so much. This is where having a big navy, hopefully, is going to help. Now, do I get to keep my trade routes with Friedrich? He is Prussia. Prussia is allowed to trade with people whilst being at war. I think I actually do. That's amazing. Yeah, I love being at war with Prussia. Yeah, so we can continue trading with him, which is lovely. Okay, I'm gonna form the alliance with Gilgamesh, putting me at war with Lafayette, unfortunately. But I'm hoping he will send me over some military aid soon. I will send him some. He supports it. Okay, so that's +3 combat strength on all units, which is good. I've got my units sat in Zaragoza, and now we attack. Stop this ballista from doing too much damage to me as we build a couple of quadriremes. More boats, please. Always more boats. Support Gilgamesh. Sorry, Lafayette. I know I'm going to regret that, but never mind. So we will get, quite a few attacks on me here, which isn't great. But as I mentioned, the Navy's now here, and I've got a boat parked in the city center, which hopefully means they're not going to have much luck here. There's the ballista gone as well. Perfect. Oh, wasting so much gold on boats. Oh well, stops me from dying. It's not wasting really. Now, how could I have prevented that war? It's an interesting question, Matt. The answer is probably keeping a slightly larger standing army. I kept my wage bill quite small in order to gain as much gold per turn as possible. If I'd kind of gone a little bit heavier on army, it could have dissuaded the AI from attacking me. But to be honest with you, because of my economy, I could, just purchase an army pretty effectively. Ah, there's my scout gone. Goodbye, Mr. Scout. We've done a really good job scouting the map, actually. That I'm pretty happy with. That I'm not so happy with. You've got to stop attacking the city center, please. Thank you very much. But the Navy's winning the fight. Excellent. Some more trade routes are finishing this turn, including one to Rizal, who is my second candidate for an alliance. I really would like to get an alliance going, so I'll just send him some diplomatic favor. Come on, help me. Plague. Okay, plague that's not too bad a crisis. It's a very easily avoidable one. Some gold. That's another empire resource, which makes 18, which means instant reward plus 1 gold for every empire resource. Now we're up to 480 gold per turn. I'm going to take -4 gold on science buildings because I do not want -10 gold on altars. I have 8 altars. That would be terrible for me. 7 trade routes, +1 trade route capacity with all civilizations in the next age, should we wish to take it. Perfect. As you can see, we have too many resources here. We want to allocate all of these. This is terrible. Okay, let's be moving some stuff around for a second. We need a lighthouse, I think, in my second city, just to increase capacity a bit more. My first lighthouse. 2 extra resource capacity. Beautiful. In you go. You can see we actually don't have much excess happiness at all at the moment. Good thing we didn't go too much further over our capacity under trade route. Just because we can trade with Friedrich doesn't mean we have to, take him trading with us. I'll leave 2 boats down here just defending this pass, and the rest of the boats are going to go up just to help. I don't want to attack or take Dusseldorf. It's not my interest in this game to be aggressive. I can probably get him to peace out quicker if I attack him. As you can see, economically, we are on +64, and we're actually now not pulling away with anybody else. Friedrich is on +26. He is gaining a decent economy. Xerxes is on +26 as well. Okay, so once we get skilled trades, we'll get a little bit more of that number, but it's worth just bearing in mind that we're now no longer pulling away from the pack. I did just notice though, this settlement's gone. Friedrich had a settlement there. Did the free cities kill it? I think they did. Oh, that's unfortunate for you. I mean, that's funny for me, but that's very unfortunate for you. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, that's quite funny. I shouldn't find that funny, but I do. That's really funny. Actually, while we're here, we might as well pillage. Yeah, I mean, we may as well. It's rude not to. We don't want Friedrich to think that we don't value their territory, so we will pillage it. But I'd like to point out, he started this fight. I didn't. I said quite clearly I was going to be peaceful in this game, and I intended to keep that promise. I think Barcelona is going to be a great third city. Yeah, it's on the same continent, but this is going to be right over to where Distant Lands is going to be. So 450 gold. Let's convert it. And I think we'll pull some resources here just to make sure that we are getting something good going on here in the same way as we did before. Saw pits, harbors, brickyards, everything good, please. Thank you. We'll keep the pillaging going. All the science is good, and any unit that's embarked is basically just a free kill. Stops them from getting to me. This is what I mean. Navy beats land. Lafayette has made peace with Gilgamesh. That's what we want to see. Thank you. One turn and we can make peace ourselves. Speaking of somebody who doesn't want peace, I think we just got to keep raiding him a bit more. Sometimes the AI will just offer you things, like Toulouse. I mean, you have to ask yourself, where is Toulouse and do we need it? The answer is no. It's going to put us over the settlement limit and be a real problem. They will offer Bordeaux as well. Where's Bordeaux? Over here. No, it's not. It's not worth it. Propose peace. That's one of the wars gone. Lafayette, stop being at war with my ally. Okay, and there's Friedrich giving a war as well. Okay, perfect. Crisis averted. All I had to do was just make a few units and we were good. Immediately, we're going to go in with reconciliation just to try and get some open borders back. Okay, skilled trades. 1 extra point per turn for imported resources, as well as a card that gives us 1 gold for each imported resource, which in itself is a big improvement. That's up to 654 gold per turn. And if we have a look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 imported resources. That's another 18 economic GDP points per turn. So we're going to go from 77 to 95. Ah, absolutely perfect. Gilgamesh's alliance is now paying off. Look at this. I can support for 0 influence. Yes, Gilgamesh. Now to go public life into entertainment to get the settlement capacity. If we can build a 9th, maybe a 10th settlement, that could be quite useful. Again, every time we can, we get another lighthouse, maximum adjacency, maximum gold per turn. It all helps. Look at all of this capacity. Oh yeah, 97 points per turn now. There we go. 4 times the next person in terms of growth. And with this, I believe all 8 of my settlements have a market, a lighthouse, and a dockyard, which means we've got all of the gold buildings we can possibly get. Excellent. So we're making a settler in the capital. We're now going to bring that over to Barcelona. My navy is also now moving over to Barcelona. I'm going to try and move some of it, if I can, over in this direction, if we can make friends with Baroque. Here we go. Open borders. He rejects it. Okay. My boats are stuck, but they're going to be just about available to go and have a look in the other direction. We're making 700 per ton, and to be honest with you, it's debatable as to what we want to do now. I could make a 9th settlement down here. There is another source of silver and some more resources we could grab, but I think we've now probably hit the point where we're setting up for exploration. You don't know what that looks like. Basically, we're going to be stocking up on merchants. Maybe we have like 7 or 8 merchants ready to go, and I'm going to use some of this gold to buy warehouse buildings in my towns. Things like brickyards, harbors. Oh, there goes the scout. The idea being anything that gets production in my towns gives me gold, and warehouse buildings later on become quite useful as well. So we're going to be trying to get as much stuff as we can over here. So one by one, we'll just get these warehouse buildings done so that a settlement has literally everything it could need. Population 18. Lovely. Oh, wow. Look at the yields on this. Oh, that's a big tile. That has been improved by a volcano many times. 70 gold that town's making. That's wonderful. So here we go. Merchants. I'm going to start to spam them now. I think we can get a second alliance now as well. Yes, which means we get a dedication next stage to get 10 happiness in all settlements. That basically means we can go 2 over settlement limit. That's amazing. That's genuinely something that I am likely to take. Plagues grow stronger. That's not good. We have made it this far without having any, so it's okay. Recruitment shortfalls, if you're not at war, this is absolutely fine to take because I don't miss the minus 15 healing. Also, minus 5 happiness in settlements with no altar. I have an altar everywhere, so that's fine. So again, another interesting point here. We have now bought every single warehouse building in every single town, which means it's just our 3 cities that are making things at the moment. That's doing pretty good. Fine, Boulevard, if you really want to denounce me, you can. It's just boring. It's like, I don't want to keep fighting you, but I will. So what do we use our gold for now? That's a good question. Oh, Oppon's got the plague and it's right in the middle of all my stuff. That's not good. Okay, we're going to get settlement limit in a second. And as you can see, we're just about in a good position to hold this. So maybe I do go for 1 more settlement down there. The other option is to go and settle kind of as far over to the left-hand side of the continent as we can. But I think we're just going to gamble on this being really good distant lands. Yeah. All right, go and settle that. We'll make a 9th settlement. And I use my gold to get another settler to replace. As I say, you just need a single settler just ready to go. Like so. They are now just going to stand there and be ready to go to sea, like any good settler should. We have a few more libraries now, don't we? Yes, we do. Okay, so as we get the amphitheaters, we can start collecting codices, like for instance, this one that gives trade range and a codice at currency 2. Excellent stuff. Let's make this a canopy. Sort it. I don't want to alarm anybody, but I have 69 science and 69 culture. That's double nice. I mean, our yields are pretty poor, but as you can see, it doesn't matter. Our economy is absolutely thriving, and yeah, we pulled significantly away from the rest of the pack. Remember, Antiquity is not where you win the game. There's a basically can't win the game here, but what we can do is give ourselves a really, really good head start into exploration to make sure that we have as much power as possible. Time capsule. We can either give up 50% of our gold, our culture, or our science in order to get some happiness towards a celebration. I think we're going to have to go for science. It's the least useful, but that's not a particularly good event for us right now, given the fact that we are making science buildings. Never mind. 2 happiness in all settlements, settlement limit, and tourism for celebrations. There's a lot to like in entertainment. 2 happiness in all settlements, as I say, it's about 40% of 1 settlement limit. It helps us to celebrate a lot quicker as well. Up to 88 happiness. Fantastic. We've got spare influence now, so I'm just going to spend a little bit of it stealing technological advancements. Costs quite a bit of influence to do, 4 per turn, but if we can take a 3 tech from Boulevard before the end of the game, that'd be awesome. Celebration. Science time. Keep picking up the codices. We have 4 of them now. That's fantastic. I'm going to spend my influence on picking up. That'll just give me a little bit of science towards the end of the age. Settlement number 9, probably excessive. We have some spare gold, so watch this. We'll make the fishing quay and the harbor on the navigable river, which means that we can now build on the rest of this. Altar goes down, as does the brickyard and the granary and the saw pit. It's population 8. We haven't even done anything. Now it's a trade outpost and we can get a dockyard and a market, and we'll save up for a lighthouse next turn. Isn't it wonderful? I think so. To 835 gold now per turn. Lovely. Oh no, minor outbreak in Valencia and it's spread to Cordoba. Oh, there's a lot of broken buildings here. We just need to make sure that all of my units aren't waiting in the filth. I'll start taking damage if they do. 40 per turn from Xerxes. Did you see, look, my line is beginning to come down. We've got maximum points as basically we can from Antiquity, but we're not going to be able to pull away from the pack now as they the AI eventually gets its game together slowly. So it is going to be exploration before we really start to push the needle to, in our direction again. All 3 of my cities are now just making merchants. Merchants. Once the age rolls over, we'll be able to make those trade routes as soon as we can. And worth pointing out that Xerxes does have a large army here. Why? Could denounce his military presence. That's likely going to trigger a war, but it would be a very beneficial war for me because he would take a huge hit. To be honest, I'm trading with him. I don't really want to do that. It's a fun trick you can do. All plagues are stronger, but I don't need to do that. More codex. Actually, I'm going to do spherical earth. Just give myself the 3 scientific attribute point. It'll help. A lot of happiness that gets lost in that tree. 10 turns. This is the time where you need to start managing your cooldowns. If something is going to take you more than 10 turns, it's not going to finish, and there's no point in doing it. All right? So just be aware of this. The plague is gone. Just a nice bill of 276 gold. Don't worry about it. It's fine. All of my gold at the moment is just going into merchants. We've got a lot, so we should be able to spring our trade routes into existence nice and quickly in the next age. Like, for instance, it is going to finish before the end of the age, but it's something that's, again, you just need to calculate these things. Literacy with literature. A little bit of extra science on my science buildings is very, very welcome. To now 111 science, which is still a pittance of what the other people are doing on this, but it's fine. Dormant. You settled it again. Wow. Yeah, I was very desperate to settle there. Not entirely sure why, but that's fine, I guess. 2 more codices. We picked up a few now. 10 of them in total. If we can get 12, we can get a dedication that gives us science from great works, which is very tempting. But bigger thing is the fact that we have now proved a spherical earth, which will help in exploration and means we can go for this science on settlements for each resource assigned to them, which is very handy, as well as the happiness down here. We're going to go 15% towards constructing buildings. Yeah, that's very good for the next stage. As you can see, we now have 5 turns. We just need to make sure we pick up something that's useful, like navigation too. Gives us a codex. Nice. Okay, this is why I wanted to get before the end of the game. The step pyramid. Just a little bit of a unique improvement that gives science on a tile, but this is an ageless improvement. If I do this and see if I can place maybe 1 in every city, we can up the amount of science, which is lovely, up the amount of happiness, and all of that is taken through to the next age. Small amounts, but I don't know if you noticed, we're rich. We can afford to do this. Wow, yeah, that's a lot of happiness. Excellent. 142 science now. Haha, 1,824 science stolen from Boulevard. It's actually quite helpful. We could have probably got through to future tech if we'd known about that. Never mind. Ironworking, we so almost finished the tree. Look at that, future tech. And we didn't really go for science this game. So just rounding this out, there's nothing really that we need to do other than just review what's getting us the points so far, because this is important. You can see our line's beginning to drop because everyone else is picking up, but we're still gaining the most points out of everybody. 113 per turn compared to 51, 50, 39, 40, and mainly gold buildings, and the rest is kind of a half-half split. Assigning resources has given us about 2,900 points and gold buildings 2,500. All markets and all lighthouses are going to become obsolete and our resources are going to get reshuffled. So as we go through to the next stage, we need to think about what are we going to do. If we continue as Spain, we effectively get a little bit more of our improvements. So more food and gold and production on coastal settlements, and then we get extra if it follows our religion. And we also get the Casa. One of these is a gold building, but it is quite difficult to put down. We also have the second obstacle, of which is the trade outpost. The trade outpost currently lets us build gold buildings, which is really good, but this is going to become obsolete and we will only be able to use the gold focus on our towns in distant lands in exploration. So all of these towns are going to have to do something different. Can't see the options right now, but one of the differences is being able to buy water buildings, and that is an option. Somebody, for instance, like the Republic of Pirates, that would in theory give us the naval arsenal, which is a naval gold building. And one of the good things about playing as Amina is that you unlock the pirates, which is a really cool thing. The reason I don't want to play the pirates is that this guide would be a little bit complicated because they play very differently. So yeah, we're not going to go pirates right now. We're going to stick, I think, with Spain. The Casa isn't a particularly spammable building, but they do give a lot of gold. 2 gold in the settlement for every settlement in distant lands. We're going to hopefully build a few of these. I'm also going to keep just the attribute points just so I can show you core mechanics of the game. But this is now exploration, which means we have one other way of earning GDP other than our regular ways. Oh, I like that. We just immediately got wanderlust because we know all the natural wonders, so we get +1 food on all breathtaking tiles. Okay, that's quite good. We have a decent chunk of breathtaking tiles around. Not like tons of them, but enough. Yes, as mentioned, we're sticking to this. Let's go for 1 extra resource capacity in cities. I think I'm going to have more than 3 cities pretty quickly, and then 1 science for resources assigned to cities. Lovely. We have quite a few dedications to choose from. All cities from a previous age remain cities is very tempting. However, cities are quite cheap, and Spain has an ability to make them even cheaper to convert. So I don't really want to be taking that. Instead, what I think I'm going to do is move my capital to Barcelona. That will leave Madrid a city, and then we can buy a Corona into being a city as well. Lovely. Then I'm going to take 2 merchants for 3 and 1 trade route capacity with all civilizations, as well as 5% extra gold towards buildings and doubled towards gold buildings. That just helps with the purchasing. There's a lot of other good stuff now. Resource capacity in settlements is really cool. Food in warehouse buildings is really cool, but I'm going to take happiness in settlements per alliance. This is 10 happiness per settlement, and people will have to spend tons to denounce me, which means, hopefully, people will find it very, very difficult to go to war with me. There's the 650 gold. I have all 3 cities back. Lovely. And this is what I'm talking about. No option for a gold town, alas. So I cannot make gold buildings. Okay, well, there's other things we can do with town focusing, but we need to get to distant lands. So all the boats are now going to go and start crossing this little narrow patch of sea, and we hope that all of this is going to be some massive distant lands continent that we can settle everywhere. That's the plan anyway. Well, the good thing about this age is, although my gold income has shot down quite considerably, I mean, Xerxes has got it, the addition of these wonderful step pyramids at the end of the last age has put my science a little bit higher than I was expecting. We've also got some nice happiness, which is all lovely. The aim of this is to keep our alliances up. We're gaining most of the happiness in our settlements from League of Legendary Friends. We've got an extra trade route capacity now and a little bit of extra gold. All perfect. Speaking of the gold, the bazaar is immediately available from the start of the age, and I've got some good spaces for this. It's also worth pointing out now, there is another weird interaction here. I have a market and a lighthouse in every city, okay? Now, the icon tells you that those buildings are obsolete. What does that mean? Well, they're detracting a happiness penalty, and their yields have plummeted, I believe, to 3 gold for the tile. It's not a lot for the tile. It's pretty small, and the game will tell me to overbuild them. But they also have another effect. The market increased the resource capacity of this city by 1, and the lighthouse increased it by 2. That hasn't gone anywhere. That is still actually a thing. So even though they are detracting from my empire, and even though they are no longer gaining me economic points per turn because they do not count as gold buildings that are active in the age, I don't want to overbuild them, at least for as long as I can get away with it. So instead of going the bizarre, I'm going to build it over the top of the market, we're going to start a nice new fresh tile. A slightly strange interaction, that one, but it does sort of make sense when you think about it. Sort of. Don't think about it too hard. So there we go. I can actually build this onto the market tile without it replacing anything, which is what we're after. First thing I'm going to go for tech-wise is cartography. The wharf increases the resources in the settlement by 2, which is amazing, but also civilian and support units can cross ocean, which will help the exploration and me and my settlers can get across. I'm also going to open with piety. We're going to go for a religion, and also there's a wonder there that gives me gold for great works. Anything that gives gold at this point is really good. Let's go for the Spanish +1 gold on resources. I really like that. That's fantastic. We don't need merchant class at the moment. Let's instead get another 2 gold in all settlements. Gold is the lifeblood of my empire. I need to make sure that we've got as much of it as we can get. And now the merchants. We have various merchants stationed around the map, ready for this moment, just to increase relations with people, but also to immediately start gaining the resources, which I'm going to do with pretty much all of them I can at once. Keep an eye on this bottom graphic. We're looking for anything that uses one of the 2 trade routes that I have. There's a lot of different resources. We'll chat about the ones that mean something in a second. I'm also going to reset all of resources because we want to apply them basically only to the cities. Madrid still has the most production out of everyone. That's fine. So I'm going to stack most of the resources in the cities that are going to need the production. I also think actually some of these, like the crabs and the turtles, apply to warehouse buildings. Each of them have 5. Okay, that doesn't matter. I'm going to make Barcelona the production hub. So let's just throw everything in here. It is my capital after all. Yeah, you know what? Everything goes in here. Perfect. 15 resources. So we're going to be getting some gold per turn, and some of these are traded as well. Our empire resources have also gone up considerably, but merchants are going to be pretty important for us to be producing quickly. I actually had less merchants running around than I thought, although I realized some of them are on the map just not doing anything. Of course, some of them were under the wake function, or they were being put to sleep, so they weren't doing anything. You have to go around and manually find all of these, which is slightly frustrating because the game forgets to, you know, wake them up. Oh, look at more camels. Basically anything that gives camels is a priority here. Friedrich is definitely somebody to be trading with because remember, Prussia can't remove the trade routes even when at war. So I'm actually going to improve trade relations and send quite a few to him. Now, this is a good quest. Build a bank and gain 4 happiness on banks in all settlements. That is incredible and something we would very much like. Look at this. All right, we've got loads of options, and 4 sources of jade means that my capital, my new capital, is going to be making absolutely tons, and I do mean tons of gold per turn. That's lovely. We're up to 500 gold. We've almost 3 times our gold without actually ending the turn. I'm proud of that. That's pretty good. I like that. Speaking of quests, a whole bunch of new triumphs to look at. The economic ones are clearly going to be something we would like to do. Resources, gaining treasure convoys. We'll talk about treasure once we find some. Trade route with every leader. That should actually be one we should track and do. First to found 6 settlements in distant lands. We have Habsburgs at home. This is quite a good one for 2 extra settlement limit if you want homeland cities. Not that I really do. Greed is good. That's something we would like. We want to get the 500 GDP. Anything that really gives GDP is going to be important for us. Like this one as well. Have 7 universities in my empire. That's really, really important because if I do projects that give innovation in the next stage, we can actually get 1,000 GDP, which is huge. So not as many to track this time round, but enough. Rough seas are going to destroy my boats, but hopefully not before I find the new world. Gilgamesh still throws me wonderful things that I can support for 3. Now, in this exploration age, there's only one that makes sense. Can you see it? Plutocracy. Gold. Gold is everything I need. You might as well just continue running on gold. We're also going to look down the trade menu and we're going to see if we can find things that actually help us. Like for instance, camels. That's a resource that we would really like. Helps us to produce more in my cities. Copan also has the same thing. Okay, this merchant's heading over to there. And then really it's just about how many resources can we apply. There's quite a good one here. Quite a way away, that merchant, but you can get there. This is distant lands. I can tell because the tooltip tells me. But this is also a treasure resource. Do you see it has the little treasure icon on it. Furs. If I own that resource and improve it, it will generate for me treasure. City has to be, or the settlement has to be in distant land, and it has to be an improved treasure resource. Then every few turns, it will create a treasure convoy that I then manually have to move back to my lands. If I do, I can gain economic points. Now, I'm currently making 66 per turn. Nobody else is making anything right now. That's insane. The 66 per turn will be coming from my ageless gold buildings, aka the Carthaginian buildings, the dockyard, and then also the assigned city resources. But as we look at this, treasure convoys, 20 gold per turn, or GDP, per cargo for each returned treasure convoy. It's quite a slow amount, but it does stack up really quickly if you have a few cities with quite a lot of treasure. Now you can see there is a gold resource there. Gold is normally, well, an amazing pick for a settlement. As treasure resources go, it's a very, very useful one indeed. Yes, Gilgabro, thank you. Everyone's sending tons of happiness to my cities right now, which is just lovely. So there's the trade route with everyone, which means for the next stage, for modern, I can get the 2 free merchants and the trade route capacity dedication. Nice and helpful, that one. We have so much space, so many resources, I should say, but we've got so much space for more in the capital. I just want to throw everything in here, and it's already making 150 gold. It could be more. In fact, actually, Galactic Emperor Poppy Dude gaining the 5% yields. I kind of actually want you in Barcelona instead, so make your way over, please. Thank you. Next up, guilds. This is another gold building, which gets me more points, but it also has influence, which means that it has, well, there are some rather interesting things that it has as well. So we'll take that. Plutocracy, there's the celebration for 20% extra gold. And for once, I am going to go for merchant class. The resource capacity for buildings, for cities with a gold building means that I can now move something to the capital. There you go. A bit more in the capital there. Lovely. As we build the wharfs to increase the amount of resources a settlement can have by substantial. Oh, here we go. Camels. Yes. It all wants to go in one city because I've got all of these copies of Jade giving me 60% extra gold. I might as well throw it all into one city. My settlers can now go across. So they shall. Gold and a source of horse makes a double treasure settlement there. And we've also got silver and furs for another one. So one settler's going to go up in this direction and the other down in this direction. Lovely. I have no settlement limit at the moment to allow for such settlements, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Good thing is that this distant island, treasure island, whatever it is, it appears to be quite big. So hopefully we're going to have space for a few settlements on this one. Also going to just quickly check into the towns and settlements I have. You'll see that the lowest happiness I have is 16. That means we can go 3 more settlements over the settlement limit before this Madrid interplanet Janet becomes under threat of becoming happy. So that's 12 of 18. We have plenty of capacity to make these 2 settlements and not go into unhappiness problems. So that is wonderful. Just be aware that that is something we have to consider. My second commander also has the leadership zeal promotion, another 5%. I've just been training them on the units over here. So now to send them also to Barcelona. Let's stack all of those yields together, please. Every 5% counts, and before you know it, you have an insane settlement. Remember, we're playing Spain. Spain needs settlements adjacent to coast. So we want to be actually settling on the coast here. I want to save this for a gold building tile. So unless I use this one, no, let's settle on that tile, and then we'll move the settler to this tile. We're going to annoy this city-state if we do that. Do we care? Not really. Not really. If I was playing optimally, maybe I'd start increasing relations with them before settling. Well, we'll think about it. Anyway, another trade with Gilgamesh and another source of camels. Lovely. Look at this. Look at these ridiculous points. That is absolutely wonderful. There's piety, which means we can now get the temple, which is absolutely wonderful. Oh, Gilgamesh, I love having you around. 6 food in every town. Beautiful. So let's celebrate by settling our first settlement in distant lands. Vicious Carrot. Beautiful. Now, we need you to claim both the horse and the gold, which we shall. But equally, I've been saving up a little bit of gold here. I will improve this settlement as quickly as we can, but the faster we get it to 5 population, the faster we can actually make more settlements from it. So we do need to bear that in mind. Spain, however, needs religion. We need to convert a settlement, and it's actually doubled in distant lands. So we're going to start this over in distant lands. So we buy in the temple, ideally on a tile that gives us a little bit of land that we need, like, yeah, that'll do. Then we make make a religion. The sort of religion that we would like is a religion that allows us to get lots of relics easily. I quite like converting city-states because it just scales really well, but in this case, seeing as we've got 7 other players, we could go for a total of 14 relics for other people's capital cities. We're going to go for city-states. I just think it's the easiest way of doing it, and I'm going to claim influence. Now, one other good thing would be tithe, or teeth as we call it on this channel. This would give us gold for spreading it around, but I believe influence is always more of a struggle, so we can get a little bit of influence spreading it to our own cities, which is really good, and then more for spreading it elsewhere, which we're going to do. So there you go. And right now already, I'm thinking this is pretty good. There we go, 8. Look at that. From Spain's ability, we are gaining 8 food, 8 gold, and 8 production because it's a settlement in distant lands on the coast and it follows my religion. Epic. My other settlements will join in with this as quickly as they can. Now to go to theology. We would like an extra charge for missionaries and other movement for civilian units, but also an additional enhancer belief. It adds up very quickly. We're building temples in all of our cities, which is brilliant. Now I'm going to actually purchase a temple in one of my towns, because now I can start purchasing missionaries and spreading my religion amongst my own cities, which is great. And hey presto, a little bit of gold for the conversion. Most importantly, we get a little bit more food, gold, and production, as well as a tiny bit of influence. Lovely. This settler is just going to wait 2 turns. I'm going to throw some influence in, start converting that city-state because I don't want to go to war with it, and then we'll start to actually settle out. Worth pointing out, because of this source of horse, we go into the treasure. You can see in 12 turns or 10 turns, this treasure convoy worth 20 GDP will be made. And it is a very, very slow way of gaining points. You're never going to really win on treasure. 20 every 12 turns is about, what, 1.7 points per turn? And considering I'm currently making 80, it's a small number. So don't get excited about it. I mean, I can speed it up, obviously, with a little bit of purchasing, but there's only so much we're going to be able to do. Speaking of, though, just buying out all of the warehouse buildings puts me to 8 population. That should hopefully speed this up a bit. Here it is, though. Gold. 857 gold per turn we're now making. Absolutely magnificent. So we're going to start making what's in Chong. This gives me 200 gold every time I make a relic. We will be making quite a few relics. Isabella is allied to my ally, so she rejects my alliance. It was worth trying. If she would have given me another chunk, that would have been 50 extra happiness. Alas, sometimes the AI can be hard to get. Okay, guilds now unlocks the guild hall. Amazing. We are going to befriend this independent, which now means that we can settle here. Huzzah to that. Vigo. Same as before. We'll send a missionary over and we'll get a lot of different things very quickly. But all of these cheap warehouse buildings, you might as well get them in ASAP. There is some silver. Up to 900 gold per turn now. 2 production on the armorer. Nice. All the more reason to start spamming that out. That's fantastic. Okay, now we're going to go for the observatory. Nice science building, the fleet commander as well, by going to astronomy. Now we look at the continent lens because we've got something relatively amusing that we can do here. On every continent, we can make one of these, a hub town. Hub towns can purchase additional diplomacy buildings, but they are limited to 1 hub town per continent. So if I make Bob Tway one, you'll see that I can build a guild hall. Even though it's a gold building, it technically counts as a diplomacy building as well. So every continent is going to get 1. I think I'm actually spread over 3 separate continents here. So the hub town itself isn't going to do a huge amount. It gives me 3 options to pick somewhere that's got a really good tile I can use, like this one. That's my 3 hub towns. We'll work on building guild halls in those ASAP. It's also worth bearing in mind, I am not using this missionary. It has 1 charge left because I'm about to put in next turn the evangelism card. This actually adds a charge to all existing missionaries as well as just increasing the charges on new ones as well. So people forget that. So if I now quickly go priesthood, don't need you, evangelism, 1 extra charge for missionaries, go to the original missionary. Now it's got 2 charges. Huzzah. We're going to overbuild this altar. We're going to do that. No, we're going to overbuild the market. This isn't a town. It doesn't matter. I don't need to keep the resource capacity capacity. But there's the gold, there's the influence, and now we're making even more points per turn. 82, just not enough. Now the enhancer belief on my religion, I'm going to go for treasure convoys, gain 1 movement. Do I want to do that? Or do I go for 2 movement on missionaries and 1 movement on... No, we're going to go for the treasure convoys movement. It's probably not the best option, but it helps me to get my treasure convoys back quickly, and that of course helps with the economic victory. Now rationalism, 15% extra gold in my cities is really big. I do want that as quickly as possible, but I'm going to start by unlocking Council of the Indies to get my casa buildings, and then we're going to go for the mastery to get the settlement limit and El Escorial, which is a wonder that gives me a settlement limit. I'm going to disperse this independent as well because it's really annoying me. And as good as this island's been, I'm going to now go and look for another one. There's more space here. There should be more distant lands, I think. At least if we're lucky, we'll find more. There it is. Wat Zhenqiang. An amazing wonder that gives me 200 gold for every great work I make. That's perfect. And we're now getting 10% on every yield because we have 2 promoted generals sat in the capital. That's why we're now making 241 gold per turn. A very healthy amount of gold. There's actually tea and gold over here as well. That's awesome. 2 more treasure resources that we can claim. Let's go and claim them. Tea gives science and production in cities doubled in homelands. It's a wonderful treasure resource and I love having it. Friedrich wants to denounce me again. I will reject it, but we're not going to be able to keep positive relations with everybody forever. It's worth just bearing that in mind. I'm actually going to take the maintenance on units. Now, actually, that gave me 19 gold. Let's just go back, take that out, put in the 2 for all settlements. And yeah, that's actually a better card to have in. People forget that you can chop and change like that. It's always worth going back, having a second look. The observatory is now available. Fantastic. A quick stop now to feudalism because it gives me a settlement limit, and that's awesome. It's worth pointing out as well that not all treasure is equal. Gold and silver is worth twice the amount of gold and GDP points. It's like double. Later in the age, you can make other resources double as well, but it is quite late. Furs and coca resources are improved in social class 2, tea and spices in imperialism 2. So you do have to wait quite a bit for those. Gold and silver, always the ones to focus on. They're kind of double. Ally is at war. With who? With Lafayette. I have a feeling I'm actually trading with Lafayette right now, and I don't really want to get rid of that. Yeah, it's not that good a trade route. It's giving me crabs and tin, and that's it. The problem, though, is that Lafayette is allied to Boulevard. So if I was to join in on this war, I would also be declaring on Boulevard. That is not something I want to do. So sorry, Gilgamesh, I have to stay neutral here, which means I'm going to lose a lot of happiness because I no longer have an ally. But what can you do? Let's just check in, actually. Ooh, 2 cities are now unhappy, and 1 town is as well. Okay, we need settlement limit, and I need to rearrange my resources a little bit. Whether you need to do that, simply increase or decrease the number of resources available in a town. Oh, sorry, step pyramid. That's too good an adjacency. And then you can change things around. Oh no, you can't. Oh, because the guild hall doesn't give it. Ah yeah, ignore me. We'll improve a resource doing something else. Looks like there are camels and lots of treasure on this tiny island here. So that's definitely worth exploring and settling. Okay, this is gonna reset it. Perfect. So we'll plonk these in. And now this is an opportunity to make sure that all of my cities are happy, because keeping them unhappy is diabolically bad for yields. Look at this. -8 goes to -5, and we've suddenly gained 11 production, 7 gold. Yeah, you don't want to let that happen for any longer than you need. Ivory. Move the ivory around. That normally helps. There we go. Everyone's happy again. Just about. For now. Another lovely source of gold. The vicious carrot now is making 120 GDP every 12 turns, so 10 per turn. Effectively, I'm making 88. So, okay, it is now starting to contribute. It's adding about 12% to my total. That's not too bad. All right, I'll let it off. I'll let it off this once, but it's on a final warning, you know? Kilns and observatories now in the capital will help massively. And here it is, the treasure convoy made every 12 turns. All you have to do is move them back to your own territory. That's it. Once they're there, they'll give you all of the gold and the GDP, and it'll be perfect. So you remember, we can't make gold towns in the homelands. We can make them in distant lands. Trade outposts. 1 happiness to each resource tile in the town, 5 trade route range, but most importantly, can purchase additional gold buildings. So we're going to select that, make sure the guild hall itself is built, as well as the bazaar. Perfect, both of those done, and back to growing town for a bit. We'll do the same with vicious carrot in a little bit. I watch my happiness. We're going to go from 132 to a considerably larger amount because I'm about to get one settlement limit from feudalism and one, oh no, just from that. Okay, 132 to 182. Yes, it just gave me the straight 50. Beautiful. Council of the Indies 2. Let's unlock El Escorial as fast as we can. Now we have feudalism, machinery. Some good warehouse buildings here. Grist mill, sawmill, nothing spectacular, but it all helps. Let's work on the expansionist city-state first, get a little bit more settlement limit, and then we're going to go for the gold and the science. Just all the ones around me. Makes sense to have people I can trade with around me. It's always really good. Fine. Okay, if you're going to denounce me, you're going to denounce me. War is probably inevitable, but it's Prussia. I don't mind war with Prussia. Okay, the plaza currently is worth 4 gold per turn because I have 2 distant land settlements, but that is going to go up quite a lot, and Casa does count as a gold building. Both of these have to be built on the coast. They're relatively easy to sink. They take a little bit of time to build. They are expensive, but it's worth it in my cities. Trade outposts, guild hall, lovely. Oh, distant lands over here has been settled by Hawaii already. Interesting. Okay, that's good to know, but it means the land around here may not be as free and expansively able to be settled and exploited as I'd like. That's a shame. So to put this in context, we have 7,395 points. This gives me another 120. So it's decent, if slightly underwhelming. It does give me the economic point though, so that is lovely. Let's go for gold for tech and civic masteries, because then we can go for this. 1 gold for resources in towns, 2 for distant lands. Sort of little modifier that adds up nicely over time. It's beautiful. Look at all that extra gold. Combining that with the reduction in maintenance. Lovely. I bought myself another settler. I'm just looking at this island and we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more treasure resources here, which is lovely. Let's go and settle a settlement there on the coast, and then we'll claim another one, which will go over to here. Keep an eye on city-states. You can see that this economic city-state is being taken by Isabella, but I'm friendly with them, so I'm just going to nip in and grab it before she can. Lovely. 1 extra settlement limit, and now we can try and build El Escorial for that extra settlement limit. +4 happiness on cities within 7 tiles of the wonder. I don't think that's going to really do anything for me, but what can you do? Race that up the queue, get that done as fast as we can. We are Spain. We have a decent production bonus of 30% towards building it, which is lovely. The next thing I'd quite like is Havana Harbor. You have to build it in distant lands, but it's worth 3 extra treasure convoys. So I think we're going to run through heraldry into shipbuilding and see if we can pick it up. Now back into the regular tree. But we're going to go for economics and then Tomb of Askia because it gives 2 extra resource capacity in the settlement. So there's Friedrich. We sort of knew this was going to happen at some point. That's fine. We're going to be playing this as a defensive war once again. I actually had 2 cogs sort of just buy his lands. Not necessarily deliberately, but because I couldn't actually move them anywhere else. So this is quite handy. Just do a bit of pillaging with them. This lake is a fantastic strategic location to stop his army being able to move through, but it's Helicopter Kicker and Bob Tway. These are the 2 settlements that are under the most threat. Got a bit of a navy here, just snuffing out this naval attack, which is good. Dortmund is a bit of a problem. We'll deal with that as we can, and I'm gonna have to spend a little bit of gold just on some boats. I think I could get a fleet commander. Let's go for a fleet commander, and we'll start to build some boats in Helicopter Kicker. Remember, choke up the waterways, and typically you'll have a lot of extra abilities. I think it makes a lot of sense just to sort of choke up the waterways, keep yourself safe. My first city-state. Harbors, stonecutters, brickyards. We have a lot of these, so I'm going to go for apprenticeship. There are other things we can do, like getting monasteries, but right now, let's just focus on the easy stuff. Yeah, another 30 science without having to really do anything. Perfect. Because there's a city-state there, we can spread the religion, get a bunch of gold from the relics, and assort them into my cities. Beautiful. So my other towns that don't have anything else to do because they can't be made into trading towns, I could make them into religious sites and go for loads of relics, but it's not really my thing this game. I need to push through the culture and science trees faster, so we're going to make these into urban centers and then use these to buy the observatories and the kilns, which hopefully will just give me the yields that I need to just push through here. It's expensive to do, Just helps to push my yields up a little bit. New settlement. Cartagena. Again, 2 over settlement limit here, but El Escorial is on its way. It will save me from the consequences of my own actions. Same as usual. Get all of the cheap buildings here. You might as well use them to go and get your resources faster. Start loading the treasure up. Perfect. In fact, this one again can be a trade outpost, so we'll get that guild hall rocking as soon as we can. Absolutely exceptional. Free migrant. Keep using these to bolster my biggest cities. We're up to 36 population now in my capital, 38 in my old capital, and the defense of a helicopter kicker is currently going well. As I say, as long as you've got the boats, should be able to hold everything. I'm just going to again go for zeal, leadership. Stack up these 5% as quickly as we can. Means out of war, we can do what we're doing in Barcelona and just give ourselves pretty much endless yield. It's fantastic. Okay, I might go 3 above limit here, which is, not perfect. A few places are going to get a little unhappy with me, but we're going to have to because that settler was about to be attacked and I didn't like that. So Rad Bickley, there you are. The missionary comes in. It's already a beautiful little town. Might need to buy a troop or 2 to keep this one safe. This city-state it's not being very nice. I'm going to start working on it, but it's going to need 15 turns of panic. And there it is. El Escorial gives me +1 settlement limit. Excellent. Rad Bickley is being annihilated by this town, but that's fine. You can always buy troops. You can buy troops pretty quickly as well. Let's go for a tercio. It's the unique Spanish troop. It's cool. And here to shipbuilding to give myself a shipyard, but more importantly, the level 2 Carrack and the ability to cross ocean without taking damage, which has been, well, very annoying. Oh yeah, here we go. Tercio goes wha-bam, and suddenly we're on fire. Not literally, but just figuratively. Catapults are here as well. We've got the +5 defensive Warrior Queen of Zazu. That's for fighting in the desert, which is exactly what we want to do. As you can see, any land attack is being foiled by our boats, which are doing beautiful, beautiful work along with our archers. Control the waterways, and you control the combat easily. It's like over here as well. All these naval invasions just being thwarted by me controlling the seas. Absolutely outstanding. Still, trade outposts going down. The guild halls still going down. It is always the priority. Get those guild halls finished as soon as you can. Again, a single land unit and then a combined fire from all 4 ships. Just gets me a lot of experience and clears the way perfectly. Gilgamesh just gets me, just gets me. Between those 2 military aids, we've got a lovely +5 combat strength, which is wonderful. And the suzerain bonus, I could take a lot of extra food here, but we're going to go for the settlement limit. Helps me just to settle on these islands a little bit more, which I absolutely will do now. I'd like this island. I'd like this island. So we'll start making some settlers and expanding accordingly. We have mercantilism, which is really, really good for the gold and the happiness, but we're now going to go into colonialism and colonialism 2 to get the settlement limit. We're just basically just going for those settlement limits as much as we can right now. More relics. Exceptional. Adding those up. Perfect. Tertiaries are fantastic anti-cavalry units. Very good at defending against these Corsair rushes, which the AI is prone to do. So we have shipbuilding. Now let's go to shipbuilding 2 to try and get Havana Harbor. These shipyards themselves are brilliant. So much extra production. You do love to see it. Another quest, another treasure convoy, another economic attribute point. Let's go for the extra gold. Puts us to 1,600 per turn, which is a good number because it means no matter who attacks me, I've always got the ability to just purchase units faster than they get killed. The economic city-state. I think we're going to go for something we did last time. 4 gold on gold buildings. That should give me, 152 gold per turn. Lovely. Attack and fire, as you can see. Yeah, we just kill things instantaneously. We own the seas. Leave us bees. And actually, he will now take peace. Remember on this playthrough, I'm not really trying to do anything aggressive. We're just defending. Amina makes it very, very easy to defend. Perfect. I should really have built Tomb of Askia before this. 2 gold and 1 production for every resource allocated to a settlement it's massive. So let's get that done as soon as we can. We'll rush the shipyard through just to take a turn off it. Last turn, 186 points. Some of that was treasure, but we are making a lot of economic points at the moment. We are about 3.5 times the next player, which is an important number because if we go for the economic victory, we can see once exploration age gets to 50% of the way through, we need to be 6 times the next person. Now, I'll be honest with you right now, I am not trying to speedrun this. I'm trying to get to mod modern age so I can show you some modern age stuff. The problem is we may end up winning the game a bit earlier than that, but I think we're going to just try and put the brakes on later on. Don't worry. I'll do what I can. I can't help being this good. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's a very modest position to take. That's what you should remember from this. Very modest indeed. Also, because I'm playing as Spain and I get extra gold towards converting to cities, especially in distant lands, I'm going to make Vicious Carrot into a city once I can afford it next turn. And then everything will kind of be funneling in over here and we can have a city in the distant lands, which will be amazing. There is shipbuilding. Okay, this is of course my beautiful treasure city. And that's one of the reasons that I think this would make such a good city. My fourth city. Greed is good. Instant reward, 500 GDP. Oh no. Okay, that's not going to help my trying not to win, but yeah, there you go. We'll pop the saw yard down and we'll start producing Havana Harbor, which I'm going to put on a tile that's nice and next to all of my gold tiles. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to move a lot of production over to this new city. Not all of it, but quite a bit of it, because I would like Havana Harbor. Tomb of Askia is still pretty good as well, but yeah, that helps a bit. Taking 2 turns off it. Lovely. Now to unlock universities, remember, we need 7 of them. We're also going to slide down the bottom of this tree now to get to urban planning and unlock the bank as soon as we can as well. Still making trade routes though. Of course we're making trade routes. This just makes, jade is worth 36 gold in the capital. That is lovely to see. Just have a look at the trade lands. Just check in with where all of the trades are and whether or not you need to increase trade relations to get those trades. I mean, anything with jade, it's got to be a good thing. This is not good. Friedrich, come on. I'm trying to be nice to you here. Stop trying to sanction me. Just because I've beaten you in a number of wars now. And I do mean a number of wars. We're on the happiness cap yet again. Sorry, Madrid, you're going to become unhappy here. But I do want to claim this little tiny island. It has a lot of treasure on it and some more camels. Camels are incredibly important. So speaking of camels, Tomb of Askia. Now look at the production and the gold in Barcelona. 145 production, 515 gold, because these resources are giving me so much. Yeah, you know what? I need more trade. More trade. Merchant spam. The time has come yet again. Still buying bazaars. Never stop buying the gold buildings. If you think that you can stop, the chances are you cannot. Yeah, the graph is looking fairly peaky right now, and these beautiful treasure routes are certainly helping. All of this gold, I've built every gold building I possibly can at the moment, so we're just fleshing out with all of the science and culture buildings. Although I realize that the happiness is a bit of a problem. Once we've got this settlement limit, it's going to give everybody +5, we're going to look, where are they? Here we go. Yes, +2 happiness from specialists. If we put that card in, we'll be able to use specialists a lot more. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for. You can see I've actually got a settler that's just been waiting here. Just waiting, ready to go. There's a treasure, there's a pulse, but I just don't want to settle it right now. It's not really going to give me anything apart from crippling unhappiness. And I don't need crippling unhappiness in my life right now. Not right now, although it is tempting. Second place, by the way, is gaining 35 GDP per turn, 33, 36, 26, so my 133 is still, well, it's doing quite well. We're looking fairly peaky. This is only turn 47. We're still 16% of the way until 50% of the way. There's a way to go. That's what you got to remember. Quickly to vassalage and the tradition slot in authority. Then we're going to go to society as previously mentioned. Also going to make a couple of conquistadors. They're not really very good for the economic victory. They're a bit random, but they might help. You never know. Actually, I might build the inn first, just for the happiness. I am losing resources here. Here's the university. Effect +1 science on quarters. That's the sort of thing that helps a lot, just to keep that passive yield going. And I do like a good passive yield. I am going almost entirely for tiles at the moment that have happiness on them. That is my #1 priority. And the reason for that is because it helps me go over settlement limit. If every tile I get has happiness, it means that you can just push that 1 or 2 settlements above. I mean, you can have more gold buildings and just push a little further. I think it's worth it. I really do. Castles, metallurgy have 2 very good production buildings, but I don't really need them right now. They cost a lot of happiness to run. So here is architecture to get the menagerie, the pavilion, and then we're going to go to urban planning for the bank. Machu Picchu would also be quite fun, but we'll worry about that later. Oh, I always forget how expensive universities are. Blimey. Never mind. They do good. You know, I am tempted by 3 and inquiry, but monastery is tempting. No, I think free inquiry is the play because we're making so many universities and we've obviously got so many science buildings around. I reckon I've probably got 12 of those, 24 science. No, you know what? Monasteries are worth it. They're difficult to place, but you end up accidentally having them way more than you think. Like, for instance, here. All right, I'm going to just try and make sure every settlement has one monastery. Like we saw in previous age, the good thing about monasteries is that they go through to the next stage. So we actually take the science into modern, which is lovely. Watch this, 1 jade, okay? 1 jade going into Cartesian, 530 gold, goes, here we go, to 582. Lovely. Havana Harbor. So now we have another 3 cargo in this city. If we have a look at the treasure tab, we're up to 9 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 3 from the wonder. So we're now generating 900 gold and 180 GDP from a single treasure. Now, the annoying thing is that there is a triumph here for having 10 in a single cargo. Look at that. But it's one that gives dedication. A dedication that gives dominion for settlement. So you don't really need it. It's not one that's really particularly good. An extra economic point, 25% extra gold from treasure convoys, and you know, it's fun. And now we have these conquistadors. 200 gold for each natural wonder tile here adjacent in distant lands. Do I know of a natural wonder in distant lands? I'm not sure I do. Oh well, go find one. Thank you. Again, we're still making trade routes, still making sure we have happiness everywhere, which we broadly speaking now do. How much is a jade worth now? About 55 gold. That's insane. This is a nice city-state bonus because this is the second expansion of city-state we have, so we can have 4 food in settlements, doubled in towns to 8. That combining with the Spanish bonus means that a lot of these towns now have 16 food base, which means they grow very quickly. Lovely stuff. Still building universities, which is lovely. Up to 420 science now, so we're actually catching up with the pack, even though it's gold. That's what we're after here, not science. Well, the happiness is doing a lot better now. Okay, that's good. I'm actually going to change where this settler's going. We're going to go over to here, and we've got a scout that's going to be heading over to this island. I'm just going to keep settling, I think. It always makes sense to do that where you can, and we can. So we will. Another conquistador, distant lands, navigable river, which, as you can see, I have not found one. All right, well, we'll go and find one soon. If ever you get to the slightly ridiculous position where a city can't build anything, which is a ridiculous position, merchants are always good because you can take them through to modern. I think I'm going to start stockpiling those already. It seems quite early to be doing that, but I think it's the best thing for me to do, as well as sending a settler over. There is homeland stuff that I could be settling over here with loads of resources, but we're after treasure where we can get it. Ah, look, another settlement has just appeared. I feel like this one's been killed before. There might be quite an angry city-state here. Now, as population is being spawned, I am deliberately making sure that I can put monasteries down. Like, it is absolutely the thing to do. Territorial claims on this economic city-state, 4 gold for every active trade route is quite a few. And that's, 2 camels. 2 camels has to be done. Merchants are crazy expensive, but not expensive enough. Urban planning. Let's get the bank. Remember, I've got a quest, precious metal. We need it. Still pulling away, but I'm not pulling away quickly enough to get to the 6 times level. So this is where settling wide really starts to make a difference. Making sure we have every resource we can. Don't let people convert you. This is not a good thing. Oi, I even had a guy here waiting to stop that happening, and they managed to slip through anyway. Let's just make a few missionaries for defense. Spain gets too many bonuses for other people to be converting you. Don't let it happen. 9 treasure. 9 of it. What a city. What a city it is. University. Done. Dedication. The next stage, 1,000 GDP if I do a project that awards innovation, which is a late game thing, but it's very good to get. Specialists in the Cothon are back on. Fantastic. Again, check through. Does anyone look like they are remotely unhappy? There's one city that's just a tiny bit unhappy in Madrid, but we can survive this. So survive it, we shall. Usual stuff. Make sure that everything is accounted for here. And once it's at 7 population, make it into a trade outpost. Pop that guild hall down. beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Another dedication, 25% gold towards purchasing rail stations. And that is important for the next stage, and we would like to do that as soon as we can. That's modern, and that is about factory resources, which is the last way of earning economic points in the modern age. Instead of 1 point per resource, you gain 3 as long as it's a factory resource. Hang on, what just happened there? It's like everyone just got like a ton of points. Oh no, just an error with the graph. Just go into it and go back out of it. Something weird happened there, but I don't think it was correct. Oh my lord, 2 more camels and Barcelona is an absolute giga city. Look at that. Filthy levels of production. 188 right now. Wow. Okay, yeah, that explains the raiding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a bit cheeky. I would quite like it if this Hawaiian city was not here. Oh, we can't raid an ally. I was about to do that. Never mind. We'll befriend it, and we'll befriend it quicker, seeing as we've got all of this spare influence at the moment. Look, sometimes I have terrible ideas, and by terrible, I mean I'm just not a nice person. What can I say? Okay, society. Means I can get 2 happiness on specialists, which will take a lot of the problem away. Need a bit more space in my government, but never mind for now. We'll take conscription away and pop it in. Bam, we should find that we've got significantly more happiness now. That's good. The cities have more breathing room. They can do more stuff. Oh, interesting. -1 production on specialist, but +1 culture. Sure. I actually do need the culture, so that's not a problem. All the wonders here have been built, but I'll take the settlement limit from society 2, and then we'll figure out what to do after that. Sometimes the yields of specialists get a bit confusing. Just find, I would say, a unique quarter. They tend to give you bonuses that don't go away. Like this Punic port has been a fantastic place to put stuff for the longest time. Although, just look for any improvable tile that isn't next to another district, and you find yourself a monastery spot, which is even better. So let's do that. I'm still very, very much monastery hunting. If you hadn't noticed, monasteries are the best. They were spammable before, they're still very spammable now. Sometimes people do annoying things like this, settling tiny nations next to your lands, but don't worry, not just as a Diplo annoyance, you don't actually mind people doing that. Reason being, if it does take any resources, you just trade with it. Simple. Oh yeah, they're being raided really badly. Come on, go and kill it, then it's another place for me to go and settle. There is the settlement limit. Furs or coca versus tea and spices. We have 1 furs, 0 coca, 1 spices and 2 tea. So it's actually tea and spices. That's what we want. Okay, so we're going to go down here. Bureaucracy and then into imperialism. Lovely, says the Brit in the game. Imperialism. Absolutely lovely. Again, we just got a settlement capacity, so I believe we can go over this now for our 16th settlement. Again, the more we have in distant lands, the more gold buildings we have, the more points we generate. And when you have this much gold, you might as well do it, because it just gives you guys... Oh, food warehouses give... Okay, that dedication, I don't think it's very good. 7 population, make it into... Nope, trade outpost, and 4 adjacency is all we've really got. That's fine. There's the bank. This gives 1 gold on quarters, but most importantly, it is just another gold building, and I do need more gold buildings. We're going to start with our trade outposts. 1,700 gold a pop. We might as well get these going now. I'll let you know how many we can build in a single turn. I have been saving up gold to do this. 4 banks this turn, and banks give happiness. Yes, that was a good quest for me. That was a very good quest for me. So there's nothing else really in the science tree that we need to bother ourselves with overly. I will just take the relic slot on pavilions, because I am running out of places without having to build temples everywhere. So we'll get that going as fast as we can. There you go, like this. More relics and no space to put them. So the pavilions will come in quite handy. And they're only 100 gold. So I'm just, I'm making a few scouts, and I'm just going to pop these all onto automated exploration. We should have done this a little while ago. It's a bit of a inefficiency from me, but just like 500-600 gold on scouts. Give it 30-40 turns and they'll have uncovered the entire map for you. It's brilliant. Lafayette, the French, built Notre Dame. Okay, Notre Dame is a very good wonder, but yeah, when the French are in the game, very, very tricky to get. We won't judge them too much for building that. Now that we've got the banks, just going to check in quickly on the economic points. We're now making 168, which is still not 6 times Xerxes. We need about 200 points to get to that point. So we're not going to get the 6-time victory, which is, I think, probably for the best. You know, this being a guide and all. So here's the new victory tier. Transcendent victory, we've hit 50% of the way through the age. The next time this will lower will be at the 80% stage, which will go to 4 times, which I have a horrible feeling we are winning at the moment. Oh, we might not quite be. This is good. We don't want to win. We want to go through to modern. So this is fine. Come on, Xerxes. Xerxes is now beginning to pick up points. Brilliant stuff. I mean, I'm still going to play heavily, but it'd be good if he actually did something. Just anything, really. Hawaii coastal yields are just a thing of beauty. Look at these. These are lovely. Oh, I love playing as Hawaii. We need to do that on this channel at some point soon. 180 points and 1,125 gold. Wow, look at that. That'll do. That'll do. The dungeon is a good building because it gets a decent chunk of influence as well as the production. So probably I should have got those before, but never mind. It's always worth exploring the map for this reason. Another independent nation found, and I've still got a glut of influence to use, so might as well grab it. Well, one place I can build my dungeons is in the hub towns because they count again as influence buildings. So not only will they get me a little bit of extra gold, which is lovely, but the influence comes in as well. I'll take it. That's awesome. That's cool. Settlement limit. Very good. Helps just to kick me above once again. It looks like I can see some plus 12s in there. We can go 2 above limit now, or 2 above where we are, which is good because I've got settlers now making their way to this new island. I think I can see 3 places I want to go, and that'll be fine. Still spamming monasteries. I just think they're going to be really, really good in the next stage, so we're going to go for them where we can. Gilgamesh, alliance again. There we go. Big chunk of happiness that. Wonderful. Thank you, Gilgabro. You are the best of us. You're going to settle. I've been watching this settler. There we go. It has settled. Away from the fresh water, I might add, but you know what? Fine, whatever. I can still settle around the back here and annoy them. Let's go for some culture and culture buildings, seeing as I am currently spamming you. Let's see what that does for me. Yeah, good 30, 40. That's lovely. Pavilions, we're buying these mainly because they have space for relics as well. We actually do have quite a few relics being made now. I feel like this settlement was fairly petty. Look at that. What is this? What is this? Don't worry. Don't worry about it. We don't need it. We can manage without it. This is where my scouts are good. We found another independent power. I've been allied with him for 2 turns, and he's already gone back to war. I'm staying neutral. I'm sorry. I'm not getting involved. It's not happening. I know you want me involved. It's not gonna happen. My settler, who just blindly settled, was saved there by a cliff. The melee unit wanted to get down and kill me, but it couldn't. Hey! All right, well, Mapbeard, welcome. This settlement is in a lot of trouble, so good luck with that. You'll be fine. I'm sure you'll be fine. Population 7, make a trade outpost, and put in the good stuff, including this lovely jade. Now, if you were curious as to what a jade does in my capital right now, it gives me another 57 gold per ton. We're also now getting an extra treasure convoy for the tea and spices, which is absolutely lovely. So we're now going to drop into social class, pick up another settlement limit. But if we now go into the treasure, you can see we're now getting 10 treasure per turn from Vicious Carrot. That is 2, 4, 6, plus 1 for 7, plus Havana Harbor for another 3 to go to 10. So that's now worth 1,250 gold and 250 GDP. Isn't that amazing? Settlement limit? What is settlement limit? I don't know what settlement limit is. It's merely a suggestion. Okay, so we're back 3 over limit, and yeah, that's about all the happiness can withstand at the moment. We'll come back to this in a bit, but that's a good start. Oh, Oxmal was just founded where I was going to put the other one. That's probably for the best. We don't really want to go too high above settlement limit, so that'll be fine. Now this might look bad, and it kind of is, but it's not that bad because in 1 turn I'm going to make peace with this city-state, and then they'll leave me alone, probably. That's what we're hoping anyway. That's what we're hoping. We didn't pick this up early enough, but rationalism, religious orders give us 15% extra gold, science, culture, and happiness in my cities as long as I converted them to my religion, which I have in the most part. So let's just quickly pop those in. 1 and 2, and hopefully my yields are going to be, yeah, considerably better. This leads to a slightly annoying whack-a-mole minigame where you have to keep checking them with your cities to see if they actually follow your religion. religion, but they all do in this case, so that's fine. A 3 scientific attribute point. That's great. We're going to take this one. 20% gold and happiness towards maintaining buildings. Buildings are by far the biggest maintenance cost on most settlements, apart from ones that have a ton of specialists in, so that works lovely. Here's the treasure convoy. It's worth 10. Oh, it's a big boy. Keep rejecting all of these sanctions. We don't want to be doing any... Look, people, just accept that I'm a lovely person. Don't worry about the rest. 200 GDP. Okay, now that is a number that is relatively useful. That represents about 1% of everything I've got so far, just in one burst. You can see our line is still increasing, but it's being caught up by Xerxes now, who is starting to generate some points. So that sounds good. Another jade, and that's now worth 60 something. That's pretty cool. 991 gold per turn from the capital, and I've only got 3 commanders here. I kind of am thinking now, do I make some more? I'm gonna make some privateers, some pirates, and I'm gonna train a couple of fleets. We're gonna go raiding the Mexican coast a little bit. Yeah, fleet commanders. Purchase some more, and let's make some boats. Privateers, please. The mission is going to be, how many of these admirals can we get with this beautiful 5% all yields promotion? I actually just used this conquistador to make this admiral plus 2 movement, which is quite cool. Okay, that's another admiral. I don't really know how many we're going to be getting, but enough. And as you can see, pirating's pretty good. I just need to send nice military aid off just to get a little bit more combat strength. Here is a military point. That means I just need 1 more point to get through to the settlement limit down there, which would be amazing. And let's start to grind a little bit of experience. Does it work? I'm pretty sure it does give me experience pirating. I'll just, yep, 4 experience. Perfect. Another city-state. Let's go for the stone head. I don't know how many of these I'm going to be able to get. We're going to go through, and if there are tiles that I can prove that aren't already doing something else for me, like this one's a great example. We'll build these for the next stage. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to get a few of these, aren't we? Up to 700 culture now. That's exceptional. Okay, privateer attacks are going to hurt my relationship with Isabella, but you may be able to hear it in the tone of my voice when I say, I could not care less. It is an accurate statement. Remember, flanking is a thing with boats as well. We start the combat, and then you can see +3 flanking bonus, +4 flanking bonus. It really does help you to eat into the advantages that AI has with combat strength. I'm going to be losing some of these boats, but the health and safety of the boats is not my concern. It is these promotions. That's what we're going for right now. 3 admirals, 1, 2, 3 towers. I think they can sit in this city, which would be amazing. I might actually get some army commanders as well for the same reason. Only problem with an army commander is there's nothing really to fight at the moment, unless I declare war on a city-state, which would be impossible. If somebody goes to war with me, like I'm looking at you, Friedrich, we'll train up another couple of commanders, and we'll just make as many as we can. Little bit more experience there. Lovely stuff. My cities, kind of without much else to do, are now going to be spamming merchants for modern age. I'll be sitting there thinking, are you sure? You sure you don't want me to do anything else more productive? And to that I say, no, don't worry about it. There's the promotion we're looking for. Zeal and retreat back home to be replaced with another admiral. Hey, look, it's a conveyor belt of experience. Gilgamesh wanted to get closer to me. I understand that. It is a slightly annoying settle, that one, but we'll forgive it on account of the fact that he's supposed to be my ally. Okay, this is, do you see this? Like, we are really losing out on this fight, but we don't need to be. We'll set the combat direction. Now the boat's facing right. So now when we attack, we get +7 flanking bonus. Oh yeah, there we go. See if we can see this in real time working. 209 production. Bring in that admiral, and 218. Look at that. The yields just go up and up and up. We're now up to 20% extra yields in the capital. The settlement limit is starting to appear though. So we're going to have a look at the cities. 100 happiness, 39, 44, 51. Okay, we can start cranking up the cost of specialists now. We don't need to worry about this. So Conquista, Evangelism, both of you can go for Enlightenment, Patronage, and we'll wait for the next celebration to get even more. Okay, the specialist numbers should start to be increasing nicely now. If we have a look at this tower, for instance. Oh yeah, we got some big numbers here. Oh, it's 49 gold on that tile. exceptional. So one thing I didn't mention earlier was some civs obviously have abilities that help. Like Spain, for instance, has treasure, gold and silver resources. I don't know why they put the gold symbol in there. That's really funny. Are worth +1 point. So now my gold and silver on Vicious Carrot are worth 3, not 2, which means this is now worth 12, which now means this is worth 240 points and 1,500 gold, which is fairly insane, but there we go. Okay, I've got one more continent that doesn't have a city. So Callum Billy, you're being promoted. Congratulations. I expect you to be a magnificent city, probably. I mean, you may not be. You may be terrible. Who am I to judge? But I'm just going to spend all my gold here now. Another promotion. That is the 5th. With Zeal, we'll bring you back. We'll start working on this one now. Oh, just like a single combat and we should be good. Now I'm working on future tax. A, to bring the age forward a little bit, but B, because it actually helps me for the next age. A boost for starting technology means we can get down to the economy technologies a little faster, and none of these are really going to do much. I mean, maybe we'll start to pick up these masteries because they're cheap, but we'll go for future tech in a second. The plague. The plague is a really annoying one, but what can you do? Divine Mercy is awesome though. Basically, as long as I keep my religion, which I have so far, the plague just doesn't do any damage, which is wonderful. I also got an economic point from it, which is cool. Running out of things to do with these points. Resource capacity in towns won't help me, but it looks really funny now my towns have tons of capacity. There's the last promotion we're after. Okay, perfect. Bring you back. You know what? Might as well just keep making fleet commanders. As long as there's some raiding to do, we'll do the raiding. Let's watch the numbers go up again. 218 production. Pull that commander in. 227. I'm liking this strategy now. The more I'm using it, the more I realize it's absolutely broken. Oh yeah, spying. That's what I should be doing. Where are you, Friedrich? Steal tech, steal government secrets. We're just going to get fixed amounts. We're doing this on him because I don't like him. I'm going to counter spy him as well, just because I can. Add future civic. Let's really push this age closed as quickly as we can. We've got everything we want from it now, so the more time we spend in it, the more the AI benefits. Like I can leave this age and I'll be happy. So that's kind of what we want to do. This admiral is very kindly and patiently just going around looking for people to kill, but Mexico is very cleverly not leaving its units out now. Come on, leave something out. You know you want to. 247 production, bring you in. 257. Okay, major plague outbreak. That's not good. This is the point of the game where you start producing physicians. You will now go and treat the settlement. Hopefully, just make sure your units aren't stationed on tiles with the plague. If they are, get them out of there as quickly as you can. Okay, this is really good. Lafayette is actually picking the game up slightly. I don't want to win in exploration, so I want the AI to just do a little bit better so I can show you what the victory looks like in modern, so I can explain a few strategies. It's awkward when your guide is so good that you accidentally end up winning earlier than you want. There we go. The crushing victory is now here, and we're just under the threshold needed to win. Lafayette has pushed it just a little bit up. It's now 4 times, but that's fine. We have a lot of different things that we could utilize if we wanted to press the accelerator slightly, but right now we're comfortable with not. Just killing these embarked units, just leveling up the commander. Plague cults, a little bit of culture every time I convert or treat something that has a temple, which is most places, to be honest with you. And as you can see, we are now stacking up merchants. Currently have 14 of them sat around for next stage, which is 2 for every civilization. If I can get to maybe 3 or 4, I think that would be better. Future civic, there we go. Push the age forward a little bit more. The plague has spread even more. Stop it. Don't want you. I don't want you here, plague. Go away. Gilgamesh, would you be my ally again? He will. He's not at war with anybody right now, but I have a feeling Rizala's at war, but he's at war with Friedrich, which is fine. I can trade with Friedrich even if he's at war. Is he allied to anybody? He's not. All right, I will support you on this one because this is an opportunity to level up my commanders a little bit. I do have a couple stationed just on the edges of my empire. So we'll make some bombards and we'll just blow up a few things that are in this area. Well, there's another couple of fleet commanders. This is totally gratuitous, but we're doing it because it's funny. Cultural point, 1 culture per age on every settlement. That works out as 36 extra, which is lovely. Just to help me in this war, seeing as I've got 4,000 influence, let's spend 2,000 of it. You can only take so much through to the next stage. Plus 7 war support will decimate his economy. A free commander promotion. Okay, well, this is amazing. I think this means means that we just can put the promotion on everything, right? Absolutely amazing. We're just going to give logistics recruitment just because it increases land unit production as well. Oh no, plague warfare. The settlements that we are trying to use to defend have just come down with the plague. This is bad timing, but what can you do? How are we doing on points? We are actually still just about catching up. Lafayette must have had some sort of boost to the GDP that isn't able to sustain it. That's fine. Still making stone heads and things. We're almost up to 1,000 of every yield now, which is pretty good. We like that. Just making sure we're stood on tiles that don't have the plague, please. Thank you. Fortunately, most tiles have the plague, seemingly. Treatment is here. Unrest is totally fixed. It's fine. The plague is still bad, but hey, we're helping. We're helping. A volcano just went off in the city that has the plague. I don't want to worry anybody, but it could be the end times. I'm pretty sure I've seen this sort of thing in the end times. Spymaster Paul is gonna just make a scramble away. It's not worth it. Oh, the plague is spreading so badly. This is terrible. Spending a few thousand gold on physicians now. It's like I don't exactly trust them not to be killing me all the time. No, sorry, Gilgamesh. We're staying neutral. Stop calling me into wars. It's not going to happen, okay? Not going to happen. Oh no, my merchants. Oh, they're all stood on tiles that have the plague. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. You're all going to die, and that would be a huge economic waste. There's another promotion. Paul Riviere. You go and bring your skills back to the capital as well. That'd be amazing. 258 production goes to 268. Lovely. 9 turns until the age ends. Not really anything to do right now. More future civic. Another economy point this time, which means we are pretty much there and we pretty much have everything now. We're onto repeatables. Not bad for the end of exploration, really. Future tech. And I got an expansionist point. Normally I like to go down the expansionist points pretty heavily because getting to this is really good. 30% extra yields in distant lands, towns. It's absolutely insane, but we just haven't really done that this game. No matter. It's fine. Still unpacking treasure, which is great. And as you can see, we are beginning to get a little close to that 4 times line now. We'll just wait and see how that goes. 276 production. Maybe we should be looking at the gold line. That's more fun. 1115. Put in another commander and we're up to 1135. Hey, just to show you what this sort of stacking modifier is now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 commanders, which means we're now gaining a 40% boost to all yields. You can see this bonus number in the capital is now 768 gold. Production is just a casual 82. Oh, lovely. We are so far over the happiness point now. This is really good. Prussia is offering us peace. I was tempted to try and take a foreign lands, distant lands settlement, but unfortunately, yeah, not going to happen. Although there is this tiny island which counts as distant lands just to the north of where I am. They captured it from my ally, so I'm going to take that from you. Thank you very much. A rational offer indeed. Now, I don't want to see you go to war with me again, okay? So we're going to do some reconciliation. Again, we like a good distant land settlement because, of course, it has more treasure, and we can make this into another trade outpost and buy another bunch of gold buildings. Well, again, let's just make sure that it's got all of the infrastructure we would need to see here. Guild Hall and the bank. Excellent. What a happy little outpost. It's beautiful. Falcon, I'm quite jealous, actually. Another commander has arrived. We're now up to 300 production. Excellent. This has been one of the beefiest capitals I've had in some time without a leader who's actually geared to push production. Spain and Amina are not production civs. This is wild. I'm loving this. Oh, we stole a little bit of culture. Very good. And another one's arrived. 310 production now. 3 turns until the age ends. I'm just sitting here saving gold. We're going to make a bunch of merchants on the last turn. I think that's what all of my gold is going to be used for, because it just means that I can set up a lot of trade routes towards the end. Ooh, just when you think you're done with the plague, major outbreak. That's a bad one. But this one had a dungeon. Ah, of course. So although it's an unrest, I can still technically fix things, but only with production, not with gold. That's weird. All right. Well, I think this is going to be mainly a case of can we keep everyone alive? And the answer to that question is always a big maybe. Park yourselves out of the plague, please. Oh my lord, it's all plague. Genuinely is all plague. We're on 310 production. We're going to move you in and you in. and to now go to 331 production and 1,200 gold in a single city. Lovely. You can see the multiplying effect happen here. We've got 331 production. I pick up a tile that gives me 6, which should put me to 337, but no, we're on 340. So we're at a 50% increase in all yields at the moment, including happiness, which means basically you can throw as many specialists as you want into it, which is lovely. It's also worth pointing out that the 15% happiness that we're gaining from a city is insane, because we've got minus 107 at the moment, most of it from specialists and buildings. But if I follow my own religion, that 15% means that we go happy. The swing at the moment is between about 27 happiness and minus 5, so it's about 30 happiness or so. It's very useful indeed. Seeing as we only have 1 turn left, the rest of my gold, as discussed, is going to be spent on merchants. I'm going to keep probably about 15,000, roughly. It doesn't matter if it's slightly different. Just want to make sure when the age starts, we have absolutely plenty of merchants to go. That'll do. Rebirth. Exploration is ending. So we didn't quite finish the tech tree. We had 1 of these to go, but I did pick future tech, so I could have optimized that a little bit. But we did finish the culture tree, which is lovely. And we've got some pretty decent triumphs to take through to the next age. So let's have a look at the age transition. Spain in modern is very, very similar. 3 food, 3 gold, 3 production in settlements on the coast and in cities following my religion, or doubled if in distant lands. So that's up to plus 12 of each, which is lovely. A small bonus, but one that works very well. And we've got some other triumphs, but there are some other things that we could change to at this point. America is a very decent economic choice. You get a little bit of production, but equally, there is a unique building combination that gives you a quarter that gives you extra resource capacity. They're very good. Britain also is very good at factories because you can use that gold towards purchasing buildings to basically have as much as you want. And then, of course, the king of gold, Mughal, India, 100% extra to all gold yields. Absolutely insane. For now, I am going to pick Spain and continue it just so that we don't complicate this guide too much. But just be aware there are lots and lots of choices that you can go for. Now, I do not need another economic point or another scientific point. Instead, we're going to lean into trade routes because trade routes are what makes the modern age fantastic. We are going to go for +1 trade route limit with all other leaders because that is going to be fantastic. The next one we're going to go for is 2 culture per age for every active trade route, just leaning into having as many of these as we physically can. And as we sit right on the cusp of the victory, we're just 1,500 points below it, let's transition to the next stage, into modern. So modern is slightly different from exploration because we no longer have treasure convoys. Treasure does not appear. There are no such thing as treasure resources. Instead, the resources are going to get a little bit of a rejig, and we're going to have bonus and city resources as usual, but also factory resources. Now, the big change with factory resources is that the majority of resources are not able to be applied to settlements immediately. Because of this, we're going to see our yields plummet considerably. And we've actually got pretty decent yields, 370 science, 320 culture. Obviously, we have a lot of ageless improvements that we took through that are massively helping that. But as you can see, factory resources, lots and lots of tea. Now, factory resources are really good. They're bad at the start because I can't apply them to cities, and because I can't apply them to cities, I can't get any more economic points, or at least GDP stalls out at the beginning. But what we need to do is first of all unlock the rail station. This means that we can start connecting up our cities with railroads, which is obviously very lovely. But then once they're connected up, we can build factories. Once factories are built, we can then apply up to 1 type of factory resource. And once that is applied, not only do we get a huge economic benefit, but we also start getting 3 extra GDP per turn, +1 if it's traded. And that's when you start to get a lot of cool stuff. It's also worth pointing out that there is extra GDP in a lot of stuff. 6 GDP per turn for each conquered settlement in militarism, 4 GDP per turn for worked coal and oil resources. That's a new strategic resource that's appeared this age. And then of course we do just have to get to mass production as soon as we can. There's also the Great Banker. This is a unit that generates tons of GDP by spending influence and gold. You can teleport between cities and just really pushes you towards that late stage win. The Great Banker is unlocked by assigning factory resources and gaining 500 GDP from them. It's an instant reward and it will definitely help. We're also going to go for an extra 2 GDP per turn from assigned city resources in cities if I start 12 trade routes. Hint, should be getting that pretty quickly. Extra 3 GDP per turn from having 12 rail stations. Yep, that should be pretty easy. Assign 60 resources. Trust me, pretty easy. And assign factory resources, but just tracking all of these. Basically, we're going through, and anything that gives GDP is going to be an instant pickup for me, but I think that's all of it. Now, again, we can only take 3 dedications. I'm going to keep my capital in place for now, but I am going to go for all cities from previous age remain cities, seeing as I had 5 of them. I don't want to spend that gold again unnecessarily. We're then going to go for 2 merchants for 3 and 1 trade route capacity with all leaders. That stacks with the one I've already got to make it 3 on every leader. And I could go for 1,000 GDP when completing a project that gives me innovation, but instead we're going to go for 25% extra gold on rail stations and extra resource capacity. I mean, you could go for any combination of stuff here, but that I think works really nicely. So all of my gold buildings from the last age are no longer going to be generating GDP, and we have a lot less resources now, which isn't ideal, but our cities are still cities, and we can go through things normally. I'm going to start this off just by looking at the happiness situation. As you can see, we're 1 over, and our cities are, well, they're desperately unhappy. Unfortunately, this tends to happen with specialists. They never look after themselves very well. So anything that gives us a reduction in specialist cost is going to be very helpful. So constitution is immediately going in. That will help a massive amount. And we're going to go for 1 gold on resources, or +3 in distant lands, and resource capacity and settlements with a gold building. No, actually, I don't have any gold buildings right now. Or do I? I guess Casa and things like that do count. No, we'll go for -1 on gold maintenance on units. That'll help. Let's start to get some city parks finished nice and quickly. So with our future techs, we got a discount in the cost of academics and steam engine. We're going to unlock steam engine quickly because this port gives us, well, a gold building, which is nice. That's good to make some points, but then the 2 resource capacity in the settlement as well. Then we're going to go for industrialization and mass production. The Spanish modernization gives us, well, a settlement limit and a tradition slot, which is good. We also can double the yield of gold buildings, which is quite fun. And syncretism. There are, well, no decent buildings, unfortunately, for us. We were looking for anything that gives a gold building, but we won't need that necessarily. The Mexican building has a lot of happiness and culture, or we can just go for 2 extra gold on districts adjacent to the coast. Either way, there's no rush on that one. What I am going to be rushing is political theory to get free speech to unlock more of a discount on specialist costs. So let's go for modernity. Living standards increases the maintenance towards happiness on buildings, which will massively help. I mean, as I say, most of our cities are, well, they're struggling. -34 happiness means we're on a -80% of all yields at the moment. It's not good. +1 influence on all settlements. Thank you very much. That's wonderful. And now we have to do possibly the most excruciating thing of, well, anything. All units need putting to sleep. This may take a while. And all merchants need applying. Now, I'm going to be a bit lazy. I'm simply going to pick the top options and just go down the list. But you're kind of looking for anything that gives, well, lots and lots of resources. Only 3 settlements in the entire map can't be traded with, which is pretty good. My range is awesome. And luckily, merchants in modern instantaneously apply the route. So we just literally press the confirm button and it sets up. Now, the nice thing about this is we're going to be making lots of friends with everybody because you get a 10 relationship bonus with absolutely everyone for having a trade route. So people are going to find it very difficult to dislike us. And unfortunately, units that were asleep don't automatically get woken up. So there is going to be a little bit of this of going through our merchants and having to manually apply them. This is important. You want to do this before you start allocating your resources. Trust me, you'll give yourself a nosebleed if you try and do it one by one. I didn't mention it at the time, but Prussia is actually a really, really, really good pick for economic victories. Not because they gain any real bonus towards the economic victories, but Prussia's ability, as we've seen before with Friedrich, is to be able to trade with people even when you're at war. There you go. There's the instant reward. We gain some GDP from assigned resources. Lovely. Now, in modern, people pick ideologies, and once people have ideologies, they start hating each other, and big giga wars will kick off pretty quickly. As soon as those giga wars kick off, well, you lose all your trade routes and you lose all your resources, and it's just a bit of a mess. We want to stay peaceful for as long as we can get away with it. Prussia, you don't have to worry. You just fight. You get all fighty. Okay, I kind of overmade merchants a little bit here. we've done quite well. Okay, I'm gonna look through any empire resource like silver and gold. I'm gonna pick those out, and I'm just gonna offer everyone improved trade relations. It gets more and more expensive the more you do it, but that's why we have all of this influence saved up. Yeah, it does get really expensive. It's also why those momentums are really, really good. Okay, we still have a few merchants. Specifically 6 of them kicking around. That's fine. As city-states are taken, we'll be able to apply those. Now my cities. Some resources, like sources of horses, apply a lot of happiness. We're going to be focusing on getting all of our cities to over 0 happiness. Once we do that, they gain all of their resources back. Their yields, I should say. Horses are by far the best resources because they just give 8 happiness each. They're wonderful. Apart from pearls in the capital, they apply 8 as well. Camels are gone, unfortunately. That is a shame. It's well worth having a look at some of these bonuses as well because the resources do change between ages. Okay, we're going to be focusing on making sure that all of the traded resources are applied first because these offer extra GDP. And as you can see, cities are already filled up. We need more resource capacity quickly. I'm just going to change this around a little bit. Take out levies. We'll put in metropole and merchant class. Let's just see if that gives me a little bit more space. It does. Just a little bit more space here and there. But hey, this is the optimization we need to make. All right, that's enough setup for now. Everyone's happy. The yields have increased. Let's see what this age looks like once everyone gets going. Government-wise, we're going to be choosing bureaucratic monarchy for the 20% extra gold. We're absolutely going to be taking +9 happiness in cities. Cities really do struggle. You need as much happiness as you can get. Specialists now cost an insane amount. And after one turn, let's just quickly check in with the economic score. You can see it says we've earned nothing last turn, but I don't necessarily agree with that. Oh no, I do apologize. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's updated itself now. So we earned 112 points, Lafayette 20, Boulevard 5, Rizal 5. Okay, so we are now beginning to catch Lafayette up slowly. We've got to get to 20% of the way through the age until we get to 3 times points, which means we're going to easily be above 21,624. So far, we are absolutely on the path to winning this very quickly. Let's just keep leaning into it, shall we? Now we go for the military science in order to get to industrialization and the rail station. But the port has been unlocked and the port needs to be applied as quickly as possible. These are expensive, but all the more reason for applying them quickly. These count as active gold buildings and they increase the resource capacity in a city by 2. Also gives us an economic objective to build 2 factories. We will do that. Don't worry. Okay, 4 ports. 4 ports have been built this turn, which means we've got space for another 8 resources. Perfect. So we're now doing all traded resources. They've all been applied. Absolutely fantastic. You'll notice I haven't actually focused any of my towns yet. And the reason for that is I don't really know what I want to do with them right now. Factory towns are really, really cool. If I'm going to convert something into a city, this is fantastic because it gives me 100% extra gold towards factories, ports, and rail stations. But you can only do this in towns with an improved factory resource. So I'm just leaving things unoptimized at the moment. We'll take a look at that in a bit. 510 influence for an independent power. That's why I'm saving my influence at the moment, just in case anybody wars with me. There's the 20% gold. Fantastic. Start giving me more gold per turn. Worth one more trade relations boost with Lafayette. Did notice he's got this beautiful route with 3 resources. So I will buy a port, apply those traded resources in immediately. Fantastic. Okay, living standards for a bit of a happiness boost. Epic. More head to political theory as quickly as we can to get that 3 speech. I think I am actually gonna start making factory towns. Watch the cost of ports, okay? That goes now immediately to 1288. That's significantly cheaper. Active gold building, of course, gives me more gold per turn. I've also noticed I can activate this assign 60 resources. I don't like assigning things to towns because you don't get points from them. But if I do it briefly, I will activate the triumph and gain the 2 extra points from bonus resources and cities, and then I can just unapply them after. Bit cheesy, but it does what I need it to do. Perfect. I don't have many factory towns, actually. I didn't quite get the roll of the dice on where these resources were popping themselves down, but we're getting some cheap ports. Not many, but some. Every port we gain is a really good building, so it's worth it. It's just, yeah, keep it in mind. Ironworks can start going down now. This is an ageless building that produces a lot of production. It's great. See? Yeah, I'm starting to gain and get this victory a little quickly, but we're going to one more turn this so I can show you some mechanics, okay? Don't worry. There's military science, the military academy. It's all been unlocked. It's fantastic. Now to industrialization. 7 turns away, which is unfortunate. I'm going to unlock the academies. Yeah, the schoolhouses first, because that will give me some extra science in my cities. I can build that up quickly. I mean, I think it'll get me there before I would have, if I'd just been waiting the 7 turns. I think that makes sense in my head. I'm also going to focus on getting a couple of economic city-states. Reason for that is there are ways of increasing the amount of resources you have in cities and towns and whatever through economics. So it's kind of worth it. It's also worth bearing in mind other people can win this point. So if you see somebody getting close to 100 scientific, or the cultural score starts to increase, you do need to be, you might have to attack to defend your win, but I don't think so. I think we can survive this a little bit. Living standards not needed at the moment. We're going to go for social science just to increase the science a little bit by 100. Okay, that has brought the cost of industrialization down by a turn. That's good. There are the schoolhouses. Let's go through and make sure we have all of the science coming in that we need. Now to industrialization. 6 turns. Look at that, 233 points last turn. It is amazing in modern how quickly you can earn points, especially if you hit the triumphs. The triumphs are here to get you the win. You just need to make sure you focus on them. That's why we're going for rail stations as quick as we can. Political theory, but most importantly, industrialization has been unlocked. Now, rail stations are a funny thing, okay? This is how rail stations work. Firstly, rail stations have to be applied to an entire tile. They count as 2 buildings, so I can put them over the top of existing buildings, but it has to be able to replace both of them. So I can't replace a single building. Secondly, a rail station has to be in a connected settlement to the capital that isn't across water, unless the capital has a port, which it does, and then you can use another port to connect it up. It's a bit silly, but basically just ports and rail stations. Those are what you want. I'm going to start building my rail stations where I can. Primarily, I'm going to be building them in settlements that are factory towns because I can buy them really, really cheaply. Then we're going to work on our cities, but the cities can put production into them, so it's less important. You will notice that some places are easier to build rail stations in than others. Tiny islands, quite tricky, very tricky. There's my economic point, which, as you can tell by now, is rubbish. 15 gold per turn. That's all you get from them. There's no point going into those repeatables. Now, if I get industrialization 2, I can start generating more tourism. I don't need that. I need mass production. So we're going to go through combustion into mass production as soon as we can. Celebrating is always good. We like the extra gold. And this is the problem about ideologies. Ideologies are incredibly strong, but once we start picking them, we start picking sides. Actually, 2 people have gone democracy, which is helpful. If we pick a side, we take huge relationship issues with other people, which isn't great. Interestingly as well, it's worth pointing out that apart from the specialist yields, none of the ideologies actually help with an economic victory at all. So I'm going to just not get one. I'm going to avoid it entirely. It might seem a bit weird, but I think it helps. We're going to unlock Spain modernization, tradition slots, settlement limits, all of the good stuff. And we're winning the economic victory in 4 turns at the 4 times level. I mean, what can you do? Once you start getting over the point, the victory countdown begins. You have to remain over that point for 5 turns. It's 4 times the limit. Lafayette is gaining 24 points and I'm gaining 233. So I am about 9 times his level. He's not catching me. I will win. Don't worry. We're going to one more turn this. You're going to see the cool stuff. I feel that sometimes the settlements are a bit petty. What is that? What is that? Come on, sort it out. Sort it out. 2 turns to victory. Still just purchasing rail stations whilst my cities make them. I could, in theory, rush these through in my cities, but seeing as the production is actually doing it, I'm using my gold to buy the rail stations in towns. I just think it's a better use of it. We're up to 5. We need to get 12 to unlock Rail Baron, which gives me 3 gold per turn from gold buildings, of which, of course, rail stations and ports do, of course, count. So we're just rushing these through at the moment. We don't need any of these unique buildings anymore. Overbuild them, get us the gold. there is the economic city-state. I can get myself a little bit of gold or 1 resource capacity in settlements with a factory. That's going to be handy later down the line, so we'll go for that. Remember, you're getting things that are going to win you the game, not that get you the most gold. Stare down those yields. So communism has been taken by Rizal, which is another reason why we want to be a little bit careful of that. Anyway, there is the victory. All we did was just push the points, push the points, push the points as much as we could. We didn't even really need to use much of a modern age at all, but you can see just how many points we got in the modern age. If you can win an exploration, fantastic. Modern is when you will get the best results. However, I just want to show you some of these last fun mechanisms. So we're just gonna kind of push through a little bit, and we're gonna just one more time this. Look at that line. If this line is going up, it means you are owning more and more percentage of the world's total economy, which means you are pushing away from everyone else. 24 points for Lafayette. The AI really doesn't do very well at the beginning of ages. It takes them a little bit of time. So this is your time to strike. And actually, this is a good point. We've earned 30,876. Treasure was 3,200 of that. Gold buildings, almost 12,000. Resources are epically big. Most of your points, over half of your points, come from assigning resources to cities. That's why cities are so important. Right, one more turn. We will continue doing this until behavior improves. Spanish administration, give ourselves a bit more gold and some more settlement limit. Although, to be honest, we don't really need the settlement limit right now. As alliances begin to fall apart, stay neutral. It's better that you don't go to war. You want to stay at peace. See, my line is still getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. We've already gained over 1,000 points from our original goal. Rail stations are now finishing in my cities, which is perfect. You'll notice I haven't really gone for any wonders in the game at all. You just don't need them. It's as simple as that. You do not need them. This is why building rail stations in the cities might have been a slightly better move, just purely because it does increase the resource capacity. But as you can see, we haven't really needed the points. So that's why I wasn't rushing it. 12 rail stations, 3 GDP from gold buildings, including rail stations. As you might guess, that is a significant step forward. You may also notice that we haven't really had a problem with spending our gold. Like, I could have been spending gold on things like science buildings in urban cities, but I've been making plenty. I've been spending it all as well. So like, we haven't had an issue with that. Sometimes when you're making enough points, there's just no rush on stuff. Although now we have the rail stations, I'm just going to be saving up my gold a little bit because I do want to generate some factories now. So this is a really, really important inflection as we pick up Spanish administration. There's mass production. Factories. Why are factories weird? Factories must be built in cities connected via railroad. And this is where zooming in on the map really makes a sense. Just notice how this road has become railroad? It's because I have a rail station in my capital and the connecting settlement. You see the rail goes all the way over here, goes all the way over here as well. This is where you kind of see it, rail station. If there's no rail station symbol, it means you can't build the factory. What we're going to do is we're going to start in the factory towns. So we're going to go to Cartagena, which has just been chilling over here. Beautiful factory town, love it. There it is, 2,392. It's an expensive building is the factory. Don't worry, now it's in. We have access to factory resources. Do you see this little symbol here? This means factory resources can be applied. Now, I can only put one type into this city or this town, and it's got 9 slots. So ideally, I kind of want to be putting something with a maximum of 9 slots. So we're actually going to go for this T. Watch this and watch my science. We're on 644, and each one of these increases global science by 3%. So that's 20. We've got another 40, 60, almost 200 science just from applying all of these in. But look, that is now ready to rock and is now generating 9T worth of product. Then we're going to go to the Falcon, which is all the way up here. This is the little island I won. Fantastic. To build the factory in that. I love using factory towns. They're so cheap. And let's instead double up. I'm just going to keep going for science here. Let's make this science number obscene. There we go. Now, unfortunately, I can't put another type of resource in. It is now locked to T, and I've now run out of T. So it's actually worth at this point just having a look through. And is there any more tea I can take? Yes, there is. There is a city-state with it here. There is a city over here, Passa, that's got some tea. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go over to Xerxes, improve trade relations. I believe we've still got some merchants kicking around. You see, it was worth having them this whole time. And bam, like that. There's 2 more tea. In we go. In we go. Exceptional. Toon generals next. This little island. Lovely. Not enough gold in the treasury for that. So we'll have to do that next turn. Enter a celebration, gain an economic point. That was from building 2 factories. Yay, another another repeatable urbanization. Just going to grab this because there's a department store in there that adds +1 resource capacity in the settlement, which is nice and handy. Syncretism, just going to pick that up quickly and just watch this number, okay? These are just resources assigned to towns, and we're at 0 out of 500 on the quest of earning GDP from factory resources. Let's just quickly see 48. So just from 2 factories, we have made 48 points. That is a huge increase in what we were doing before. And I could increase that even further by putting them into my cities. Now, there's no need to do that because I've got enough bonus resources for my cities to absorb, but it just goes to show the modern age really is the time to strike. Here's another factory. This one has 9 slots again. So we're going to pick the next biggest, which is factory resource construction towards buildings and wonders, 5% each. That would be a 35% bonus across the board. That is, again, insane numbers. Lovely. My 4th, my only other factory town. This one is going to get quinine. Doesn't really do much for me. Extra healing on units, but there are 5 of them, which is a really good thing. And again, we're just keeping an eye on resources that we have applied. Like there's some more quinine here in that settlement, so we'll trade for that. You see 2 towns now, 135 points have been generated. It doesn't take long. Now some more towns. We're looking for ones that have got decent amounts of resources in them. Resource capacity, I should say. Here we go. So that's got 6 and Kalen for some culture. Oh, just 1,000 GDP for having 30 factory resources assigned. Trust me, when you have 30 assigned, that's kind of all you need, really. Now the chocolate goes in. You can see we're just going one by one through all of these resources and assigning everything we can. And as we get syncretism, we unlock Railroad Tycoon. We've made our 500 points from factory resources. We have spawned a great banker. Now this is the last way that we can generate GDP. We have this. Activate Great Person. Activates once in each other leader's capital to establish a World Bank office and gain GDP. Costs gold, but scales with the number of times Great Bank has been activated by all players. It also, I believe, has an influence to do with our relationship with the player. So the more we like them, the better. So we're going to start with our ally. You can press this button just to teleport them straight to the capital, so you can use them basically every 2 turns. Once he appears, do not spend your influence or your gold. Trust me, just not worth it. Affirmation for Spain. There's the tradition slot. A little bit of extra food and production in cities and distant lands, but also 2 gold for districts on the coast, which is lovely. Perfect. Oh, that's like 300 gold. Amazing. I mean, the choices that I'm making now, they really don't matter. Not at all. Again, I just want to show you here how much our line has grown since we started using factories. It just gone whoop like this. We are so far ahead of the next person now. We're currently on 37,098 points. The Great Banker can be used in my ally. Just keep an eye on the gold and the influence at the top. It cost about 2,000 gold and about 100 influence. 200 influence. And we just generated in one go 1,000 GDP. So representing about 3% of my total amount in one go. We can do that every 2 turns just by spending him. It is the final hurrah and quite an effective one. Capital's now getting involved. Look at this. 3 cotton resources going in. This is double effective because this generates all of the GDP from factory resources, but it also counts as a traded resource inside a city. So it's gaining tons and tons and tons of points per turn. Look how few resources I have unassigned now. They're all in here. And if we have a look at the graph, you'll see, yeah, it's starting to shoot up and up and up and up and up. We're going to go to the next place. Let's just show you the differences. Who dislikes me the most? Probably Xerxes. Let's head over to Xerxes' capital. This is going to cost significantly more, I believe. Yeah, 4,000, but it still gives you the same amount. So it's worth doing this on your allies before you do it on your enemies. But yeah, look at the line. Boop, 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 boop. Every time you do it, you just pull further and further away. And that, dear audience, is where I'm going to leave you. You have everything you need to win economic deity victories. It's only turn 35, and I'll let you into a little bit of a secret. I kind of didn't optimize fully in exploration because I didn't want to win in exploration. But with these strategies, you easily can. I mean, look how dominant we are. Making 1,500 points, 500 of them per turn. That's just my passive GDP, 500 per turn. We are now 17 times the next player. Isn't that mental? If you have any questions at all about this guide, let me know in the comments. I'll try and answer them. And if you want to see other guides, then let me know what you want to see. me. I love making them. I love talking, and these guides let me talk the most out of everything I do. I hope you agree that that was a pretty dominant run, but there are other ways to win, other just as crazy dominant ways. So until next time, I'll see you all. Have a lovely day. Goodbye, and remember to come to Discord. And finally, a very special shout out goes to Glorious Petra, Klibben Thurdas, Poppy Dude, Mushkin Mandletort, Paul Coffey, Toon General, The Uncivil Engineer, Radiatore, Debo91, Slither Alley, Scott Stratton, Skeptical Bear, Cinnamon Beard, Private Selection, Genoa Salami, Callum Billy, Garrett Gowan, Creston, RB Hedged, I'm Daft, Gooberman, Dr. Bobby, Mixomatosis, Teddy Zursa, Barnaby Rex, Charlie Bears, Nate the Great, Alex Frost, Interplanet Janet, Frankincense Battlezord, Geography Teacher, Juvara, Morax, Sinikush, Legally Trash, Shadow of Gaia, Echobear, Bob Tway, JB Genius, Arctic Fox, Cases Belli Button, Weaponized Incontinence. Thank you everyone for your support. Goodbye!